Funds now will allow the American public to safely visit many of our nation's national parks while providing these iconic treasures the protection they deserve. The funds will be used to clean up trash, clean and maintain restrooms, bring additional law enforcement rangers into parks to patrol accessible areas, and restore accessibility to areas that have so far been off limits due to the shutdown. The statement did not clarify how much money would be spent or which parks would receive the funding. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Sunday he was in no hurry to find permanent replacements for 1/4 of his cabinet currently serving in an acting capacity because it gives him more flexibility. Trump told reporters as he departed for Camp David for meetings on the partial government shutdown, "I am in no hurry." About 1/4 of the U.S. federal government has been shuttered for more than 2 weeks, and about 800,000 government workers have been either furloughed or working without pay. Trump said, "I like acting. It gives me more flexibility. Do you understand that? I like acting, so we have a few that are acting. We have a great cabinet." He did not elaborate on why they give him more flexibility. There are 24 cabinet-level positions, and 6 are currently filled by individuals who are serving in an acting capacity after the departure of members confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Other than the White House Chief of Staff and the Vice President, cabinet-level officials require confirmation by the U.S. Senate. Federal law allows the president to temporarily fill vacancies by appointing acting department heads who are already employees there. Trump said last month he was in no hurry to name a new defense secretary after Jim Mattis quit over policy differences, and he has praised the acting secretary, Patrick Shanahan. David Barnhart is acting secretary of the Interior Department, while Matthew Whitaker is acting attorney general. Andrew Wheeler is the acting head of the Environmental Protection Agency, while Mick Mulvaney is the acting White House Chief of Staff. Jonathan Cohen is acting ambassador to the United Nations. In the first 2 years of Trump's presidency, there have been a 65% turnover rate among senior-level advisors, according to the Brookings Institute, a Washington think tank. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
With each successive bite failing to relieve his anxieties, increasingly worried man Dylan Hawks told reporters today that he has yet to come across any trace of guacamole in his burrito, despite having specifically requested it when ordering.
No, there definitely wasn't any guac there. Cheese, beans, chorizo. Oh man, I hope they didn't forget.
Hawks has continued to maintain hope that there may still be an undiscovered sliver of avocado somewhere in his tortilla. However, with his fears for the meal mounting, Hawks has reportedly considered asking the cashier for a refund at various points while eating the burrito.
The thing is, if you had a burrito and it was missing cheese, you might not notice it because there's sour cream, but guacamole is completely different. I just don't know how I wouldn't have tasted it by now. Christ. I'm almost done with this thing.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. All you have to do is dial in here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. You can jump into one of those, and you will sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
So I want to start out tonight by welcoming our first of 3 existing stations that have been carrying Free Talk Live, but are now expanding their coverage from, like, let's just say they were weeknights. In this case, that's the case. KHMO, a great AM station in Hannibal, Missouri. Welcoming them on board. They're going to be doing Free Talk Live's first hour in what they call in the business delay broadcast. So you'll be hearing this after we actually have performed the hour, but that doesn't mean you can't participate in the show. It just means you should call while we're doing our live show, which is 6 to 9 Central Time. We are in the Eastern Time Zone when we're doing it, so 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. So welcome aboard to our listeners there in Hannibal on 1070 AM KHMO. We're going to be actually welcoming new stations every hour, or new existing stations that are now taking weeknights every hour tonight, which is very exciting. This has never, I don't think, happened in the history of Free Talk Live where we've actually had this many stations coming on
in a single night.
Yeah, in a single night, and it's because of the loss of the Michael Savage show. I think for all three stations,
not the full show, but.
Well, but yeah, some stations are just kicking him off. I mean, look, you're cutting back to 1 hour a day. You're just not worth our time, basically, is what they might say. I don't have an exact statement from each station as to why they're dumping the Michael Savage show, but
it doesn't fit their needs like he did.
He cut off his live hour, one of his 2 live hours. His show was 3 hours, but for a long time, only 2 of the 3 hours had actually been live. So he'd been doing kind of like a best of hour every single night, or some sort of recorded hour. I don't know if it was recorded interviews or what it was, but his station PDs, program directors, had started to notice over the years. And then at the beginning of this year, starting this week, he was cutting back his live show from 2 hours to 1 hour live. And then the second hour will be that recorded content, which he, I believe, is putting out as a podcast now. So basically, he's down to 1 hour per night, per day, weekday, 1 hour per day live. And so that means some stations are looking for an hour of Free Talk Live. Some we're looking for more. And so welcome aboard to new listeners here tonight. We're going to be doing that a couple times tonight.
That's one of the things we do here at Free Talk Live. Is one of our unique selling propositions is that we make it pretty easy for stations to carry us.
That's correct. So most shows won't let you just take an hour. We do. We've got no problem with that. And of course, all these stations we're going to be welcoming are existing affiliates, so they already knew we're here, we're reliable, we do weekends, and we do weekdays. So welcome to the show if you're new to it. It is open phones every single night here on Free Talk Live. But of course, we always bring things to the table to talk about. And over the weekend, Mark, we got a call on our Saturday show from a guy who was responding to the discussion we had about the TSA, where there's been call-outs, which there's another article today about the call-outs continuing. I don't know if
call-outs mean people not coming to work.
Yeah, people.
I'm sick.
Well, right, if you want to call it work in the first place.
I'm sick of not getting a paycheck.
Well, they haven't even not gotten the first paycheck yet.
I'm sick of the idea that I might not get a paycheck.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a very realistic belief.
Yes.
That the paycheck is not going to come this Friday for the TSA and for other bureaucrats in the Department of Justice and a bunch of other government departments. We actually went down within the last couple of weeks. I forget, it was a weekday show, where we went down this list of the 800,000 employees, what the departments are that are being affected. And there's a number of them. The Department of Justice is definitely one of the biggies, and that includes the Bureau of Prisons. So the guy who was calling in was a corrections officer or worked in some way for the Bureau, and he says that there's a lot of dissent. There's a lot of people working for the Bureau of Prisons who are not happy about being told, you got to come to work, but you're not getting a paycheck if this this so-called government shutdown, this partial government shutdown, continues past Friday.
It's the rare employee. It's the rare employee that's going to keep a smile plastered across their face when they haven't got a paycheck,
especially at a government job.
Yeah,
they're either going to not. I mean, any job really. They're either going to not show up, or they're going to show up for the sole purpose of being obnoxious.
Because do as little as possible, even less than as little as possible.
No, just
right?
not even to do as little as possible, not just to sit there, just to be like, I'm going to come to work and I'm going to like rearrange things that don't need rearranging or whatever. Well, or I'm going to yell at the customer or whatever you're going to do.
Well, it is a prison, so that's probably
in this
common.
case, the customers get yelled at a lot.
Yeah.
But you can do a lot of bad things as a correctional officer. There's a lot of mistakes, little mistakes that can be made.
They might just play ping pong tables with the inmates. Like,
who knows?
Well, I can tell you one really odd one. This was a mistake, and it had nothing to do with a call out in that
you
circumstance.
Were in prison.
I was in prison. Yeah, at one point. You can find out more about that at freetalklive.com, I'm sure. But I was going through what they call the Sally port. This is like a
secure
it's
area.
An elevator that doesn't move. So imagine a room that has 3 doors, and those doors are controlled by
a man at a control board,
gizmos.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be going. There was something wrong with the normal way for me to get to work, and I had to go through the Sally port door. Normally, I would not be traveling through here, and so they pushed one door from the prison, and I was supposed to walk into another area of the prison. The officer accidentally opened the wrong door.
And what would that have given you access to?
The front lobby.
Okay.
Where the pre-people come and say things to the officers, usually get told no. Whatever it is they ask. The answer is no.
Yeah.
They should just put up a sign.
Not have, I mean, it might have put, if you were a dangerous prisoner, it might have put someone who was from the public in the front lobby, maybe there for visiting or whatever, in danger if you had wanted to run out and attack them.
Or even if you're just a little bit less intelligent and just think you're going to walk off.
Right.
Yeah, the front door is likely locked.
Yeah.
The front
door would not be locked.
There's no security in the front door?
No.
Not usually.
Wow.
No.
Here at the Cheshire County...
This was the door. This was the secure door.
I see. Okay. Because here at Cheshire County, the spiritual retreat, as we call it, the jail here in town, that front door, there's a lock, on it. You got to step into the little airlock thing, and then they got to buzz you in. So even if you were to escape into the front lobby, you still wouldn't be able to get out the front door.
Yeah, this was like 1994.
I see.
They didn't have that.
Well, Cheshire's actually like a maximum security facility.
But if I had taken off at a full run with no prior planning, I would not likely have gotten 200 yards before something very painful occurred. Really bone-crushingly painful occurred.
But what the point of the story was that a mistake was made, but they could make those mistakes more often.
Well, you're going to have, if you had a half a crew, I mean, you're just going to have to lock the prison down. And it's not going to be great. It's not going to be good.
So everybody goes into their cell. There's no day area, day room or whatever.
In a lot of cases, I don't know what their plans are for when they don't have.
You better believe they're making them
they're
now.
Coming up with something.
According to the story here at NBCNews.com, the partial government shutdown has created a delicious irony at federal prisons. Inmates dining on lavish holiday meals in front of disgruntled staffers, forced to work without pay.
What are you talking about, lavish holiday meals?
You will get a nicer, I don't know if they did this for you in Florida, but on Christmas and Thanksgiving, in a lot of places, a lot of locked down prison-style jail environments, you're going to get a nicer meal. We had a pretty sweet Thanksgiving Day meal when I was in jail for civil disobedience. Like nice, juicy turkey with, gravy and some cranberry sauce. And,
real turkey? Like turkey from a turkey?
Yeah.
That's great. First off, the idea...
It was probably processed, but originally it came from turkeys.
Hold on. It's either turkey from a turkey or it's processed turkey.
It was good turkey. It seemed real.
See, this is the problem that I have with you and your word on these things is I would rather give a steak to a dog than feed it to you because you don't have any real, a sense of taste. It's just a waste.
It was a high-quality piece of meat.
To you, it's free. That makes it high quality.
I'm just telling you, man.
I wouldn't call it free.
It was a better...
It was a better
meal. It was a better meal than what normally we would have there. And normally, it was a cut above your typical jail meals. The guys who were in the Massachusetts jails and who'd spent time in Massachusetts and who'd spent time at Cheshire County Federal Correction, not Federal Corrections, but Cheshire County Spiritual Retreat, as I like to call it, they say it's a higher quality meal. And I believe them.
Well, I'll tell you this. We got double helpings of swill. Yes.
It was not swill here. This was
not by
a
your
decent
standards.
Thanksgiving meal. These guys were apparently dining on steak and shrimp. We'll tell you more about it coming up here in moments.
If you have to use a knife, I never got it.
This is Free Talk Live.
Cut your meat.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service.
If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free to join us here. The number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms are available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. Here in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
Anarchapulco is coming up fast, and it is getting close to a potential sellout. Mark, you just got some updated numbers from the folks down there that are organizing Anarchapulco, coming up for February 14th through the 17th in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. 3,000 tickets maximum. How many are left?
Fewer than 500.
Okay, so this is crunch time here.
Yeah, so they are 5/6, more than 5/6 sold out, and there are fewer than 200 hotel rooms left. So,
this entire hotel is going to be dedicated to Anarchapulco this year. It wasn't last year. It was big. Like Anarchapulco, 1,700 attendees. They maxed out. They sold out the space that they had. This time, they've literally rented the entire resort.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful resort, and it's a great event.
Right on the beach.
One thing I want to say
Incredible.
is I think what's most important about Anarchapulco is the people. And people keep saying that over and over again. But I want to tell you what the organizer said to me when I was asking her about the numbers. So this is the person who does the work, not Jeff Berwick. I mean, he's the front man. He's great, and he does the pitching. But she's doing the hands-on making this, and she's done a lot of events, by the way. Okay, so it's going to be a great event.
You can't just walk into a 3,000 person event and not have done a lot of events.
And to sell out as well as she has, too. So she's done an incredible job. And I can tell you from working with her for months at this point, highly professional lady.
Okay.
And what I love what she said when I was asking her about the numbers is she dismissed the notion that selling out was important.
It doesn't matter. No.
She said the bigger
covering your costs matters.
The bigger picture is that the community is growing so much, which means more information, more knowledge, and more connections. This is somebody who's highly passionate about what they do, the message that they're bringing, and I just think it's great. I think Anarchapulco is the best event I've ever been to, and like, they're not paying me to say that. I just get more excited about these people every time I talk to them.
Ooh, is it the best event ever? That's a tough call to make. It's the best event now. It's the best event
you can get a ticket to.
In the last 3 years, it's the best event I've been to, hands down. I mean, there was something special about the Porcupine Freedom Festival in its time, but that time has passed. So
agreed.
It's still a fine. I'm sure that's still a fine event and everything, but Anarchapulco's got it beaten. It's such an international
and we put on an event.
Crowd.
Like, we actually have our own event called Fork Fest.
Well, it's not ours, and nobody owns Fork Fest.
Agreed. But we are part of the organizational process of Fork Fest, and we still say that Anarchapulco's better.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So check it out at anarchapulco.com. Go there and use code FTL. You get a discount because you're a Free Talk Live listener, and we will see you there. Mark, you and I are going to be there broadcasting from the event.
So will Ron Paul, Jeffrey Tucker, Andrew Napolitano, David Icke, Doug Casey.
Well, we can't guarantee all of them will be broadcasting with us, but we're definitely going to try to get some of them on. So February 14th through the 17th, we'll look forward to seeing you. Anarchapulco.com. All right, so the partial government shutdown, this according to NBC News, has created what they're calling a delicious irony for federal prisons. Inmates dining on lavish holiday meals in front of disgruntled staffers forced to work without pay. Well, they're not forced to. They could quit their jobs anytime.
Right.
The striking dynamic played out at dozens of prisons across the country on Christmas and New Year's Day. Several workers told NBC News, in fact, one of them called this show on Saturday night to complain about it, aggravating staffers who are already fretting about bills to pay and children to feed. Yeah, it's Christmas time.
Somebody called this show to complain about not being paid as a cop.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I mean, they're technically not cops; they're corrections officers. They, they don't have jurisdiction.
They don't
outside
imprison people. They just have a really small jurisdiction.
Look, they have a very small jurisdiction. Generally, there's some tension between prison guards and the police because a lot of prison guards would like to be the cops, but they're not.
And the police tend to look down on prison guards for whatever reason they do.
I'm not looking down on prison guards. They have a tough job. It's a sucky job, and
it's not like they can do.
They're slave drivers.
There's nothing they can do to make your life better if you're in prison. Almost nothing.
That's
they can give you a candy bar.
They can refrain from being an a-hole.
Well, believe me, look, I was in prison for a long time, and my statement was at the time, and I will stand by it today, is that 25% of these guys are really good people.
I think that's
50% are people who are doing a job and punching a clock.
Yep.
And 25% are jerks of the highest order.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I would say that's generally true for what my experience was when I was in jail for 58 days for civil disobedience. And my thought was, Melanie, at this point, or at that point, was that I wasn't there to cause trouble for the jail, right? Like, I did my civil disobedience and did what I did in that particular case, and that was, causing some issues, right? I stood in front of a police car in that particular case.
Right. So I'm not saying that's
but I wasn't there to be a thorn in their side. I would rather get along with my imprisoner than,
okay, but that's a very valid strategy, either for PR reasons or just for surviving reasons. That
I would say it was both, actually.
You're right, but that says nothing about the morality of them or what they're doing.
I totally understand where you're coming from, right? Like, however, even in the absence of this insane war on drugs where there are a bunch of innocent people being put behind bars, people who've never harmed other people, there's going to be a strong argument that a lot of people will make that, okay, we legalize drugs, we legalize prostitution, we legalize gambling, all these victimless crimes go away, and then we actually have rapists and murderers who are being kept behind bars.
Okay, so in
would you then have as much of a an issue with the job of prison
in
guard.
a universe where the only people they arrest are rapists and murderers and actually
arsonists, property
stuff
destruction,
like that, and actually do actual investigations instead of framing people
Right.
and being lazy.
And actually get the
in
real-
that universe, you're describing to me an entirely different industry.
Right.
So I would not have any more problem with those people than I would with a librarian or
Okay.
a firefighter.
All right, fair enough.
But that is not what we're
That's
talking about.
not what we have. I agree with you. So anyway, back to the story here. The striking dynamic, they say, played out Christmas and New Year's Day. Staffers fretting about bills to pay and children to feed. This is just after Christmas and during Christmas, where people have already extended themselves. Now, whether they did
but
it,
Christmas isn't like a medical bill that was a surprise. Christmas
that's
is
true.
you buying a bunch of random luxuries.
but it is a surprise to not get paid.
No, it's not. We've had a shutdown how many years in a row now?
I don't know if it's every single year, but you're right. People who work for the government should understand this is a risk of working where they work.
It most assuredly is a risk of working where they work, but it would be unreasonable to presume an employee is going to put up with this for very long.
I agree, which is why I've been asking, how long are they going to go without getting paid before they walk off?
Federal employees have better benefits than your average schmo.
Retirement after 20 years in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
the retirement could be better, but the longer you work, the better retirement you get.
Yeah. Well, most people don't get any kind of retirement after working 20 or 30 years.
Well, I don't know that all federal employees
unless they
do.
put it into a plan. This is guaranteed for you.
Right. I don't know that all federal employees get a 20-year retirement. Certainly these do.
Okay.
Because correctional officers would. They're law enforcement. But that those good benefits are great and everything, but they're only going to hold people another couple of weeks in many cases.
Inmates at FCI Pekin in Illinois enjoyed a fancy meal of steak and shrimp on January 1st. And Cornish hen and Boston cream pie were on the menu at Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
How's that happen?
We'll tell you more about it here in moments. Well, the guards eat the same meal, by the way, in a lot of these facilities.
I was
There's more
getting
coming
nothing like this.
This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. The Discord on-air call-in line rooms are open and available to you as well over at discord.lrn.fm. It's Ian, Melanie, and Mark in the studio here tonight talking about the government shutdown and how it's affecting the Bureau of Prisons in its now entering into its third week. So at the end of this week, it will have been 3 full weeks since the government began this partial shutdown, and we can continue that discussion. But I also want to let you know about Liberty.menu. If you're a liberty-minded person, if you're an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, then you belong over at Liberty.menu. It is essentially a site that allows you to share your business or maybe the event that you're creating or your digital media that you create with other libertarians. And, of course, they can leave reviews. Maybe they've used your business and they liked it, hopefully. They can review it, and there's a bit of a social networking aspect as well. It's free to use. You can list the things that you do so other liberty-minded folks can find you over at Liberty.menu. That's Liberty.menu. You can use code FTL, like Free Talk Live. You get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. If you do that, inmates, according to NBCnews.com, at Federal Correction, I think it's Institution, FCI. Yeah. I assume that's what the I stands for. Pekin in Illinois dined on steak and shrimp while in the Metropolitan Detention Center, which I believe held Ross Ulbricht for a period of time from the Silk Road. They ate Cornish hen and Boston cream pie on New Year's. And
I just don't understand where they're getting these meals from. I mean,
they probably have a food service provider like U.S. Foods or Cisco.
The last thing that I want people to take away from this is that inmates in prison eat well, because my experience is to the contrary. Mm-hmm. I would say that what we got on New Year's was something like canned beans and and some kind of breaded mystery meat.
Yeah, I'm sorry to you, Mark, but it wasn't that. That was not my experience at all. And I understand you're making fun of me because I'm not a culinary expert or whatever. But I can still tell you that we had real eggs at the prison, the jail that I was at for civil disobedience, and there were other, quality ingredients that I saw because I worked at I worked in the kitchen every single day. Now I did mostly dishwashing, to be fair, but I was involved in some of the food preparation, and I was definitely involved in serving the food. So I got to see, the quality of all the meals as they were being produced every single day. And they hired a third party to come in there. And I forget what the company's name was. I think it was Sodexo. I think it's the same company that does college dining areas.
Makes sense.
As well as a lot of a lot of jails and prisons. But there's a wide range that you're going to find amongst jails. Now, maybe the federal meals tend to be better.
That's what I've heard.
On average than, say, Florida Department of Corrections or the Florida prisons. Or Joe Arpaio, remember that guy from down in Arizona, the guy running the jail?
Moldy baloney.
Moldy baloney and serving people in Tent City, which I think they finally shut down after he got out of the sheriff's job there. But he would brag about how little he was spending on the meals. For him, that was a badge of honor, was to spend as little as possible and not be sued, have the pants sued off of him for not feeding properly the inmates, even though it was just garbage kind of quality. So I imagine the quality ranges from as cheap as you can get, the trashiest garbage meals you can find, to, okay. I would say that's probably the range. Anyway.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you're right. I just don't want people walking away from this. Because, first off, what is the value from a correctional standpoint of feeding good meals? I'm not sure that there is one. Right? I can tell you that taking bad people, putting them in with a whole bunch of other bad people in one bad place and treating them badly really doesn't have much correctional value. But on the other hand, serving them foie gras does also not have any correctional value. That the correctional value has a lot to do with education, treating people with respect, that it has to do with the opportunities that they have to shorten their sentences, those kind of things are ways that you can see people had marked differences in how they behave. However, I don't think that just giving lifers filet mignon is going to fix anything.
Well, again, the quality goes up on the special days like New Year's and Christmas and Thanksgiving. The quality is
the quality did go up. Like I said, we got double helpings of swill.
Right. Well, it's a lot better, obviously, in the end. I know you sound really jealous and upset about this, but regardless,
look, it's not like I haven't spent a good portion of my life listening to morons talk about, you guys and your cable TV and your blah, 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 3 meals and, 3 huts and a cot and all this other crap. I very, very, very rarely, like vanishingly rarely, found somebody pounding on the Sallyport door trying to get back into prison. It sucks there.
No doubt.
And when people write these kind of articles about people with eating partridges under glass. It's offensive. Yes, it is a freaking offensive. This stuff
Hold on, what's offensive? The fact that they're getting a decent meal?
This a-hole that they report it as though this isn't a rarity, okay?
It does say lavish holiday meals. I mean, but
it's not like every year on Christmas everyone in jail eats well. This is a complete
we don't know what all the other jails in the country are like because they're all run by different organizations. For instance, I mentioned Joe Arpaio. If I recall, sheriffs like him, they'll brag, I only spend 30 cents a meal or something like that.
Sure.
And I found out at the local jail, they're spending at least, again, this was 2011 numbers, so I don't know what it is now. Maybe they cut it. But back then, it was $2 a meal is what they were spending. And they wanted their inmates to get 2,200 calories a day. I put on weight when I was in that jail.
Look, I understand, and I'm not saying that whatever happened to you was not true. However, I would say that there's a portion of the population that wants inmates treated worse than they are today.
No doubt.
Is that correct?
They exist.
That portion of the population is armed by statements like this that are not qualified. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, inmates are, I don't know. I can't tell you how every inmate in America eats, but I can tell you that many of them eat a lot of crap, because I did for a long time.
I'm not denying that, dude.
I'm not saying that you are.
Okay.
You're just chuckling your way through this.
You're clarifying for folks.
And it needs to be really clear.
This is not typical, okay? But even still, Mark, even if they listen to you and you tell them this is not typical, they're still going to hear this and be upset, right?
Because so which is why they shouldn't hear it in the first place, because it's not true.
Well, it is true.
It's on a spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, there's a spectrum of less than positive food experiences that one has in prison, right? And even if someone has some delightful meal on New Year's Day, all that does is serve to cement in their minds that they do not get good meals the rest of the year.
I want to go to Jeremy. He's in Illinois. Jeremy, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, am I live?
You are on the radio. Go ahead.
Hold that dump button.
You got it.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
Oh, you can't say that on the radio. We know how this works, bro. Sorry to say.
All right. He couldn't even get through the first line without cussing.
We go on here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So, also at a federal institution in Minnesota, they munched on plates, heaping plates, they claim, of chicken wings, according to staffers and documents obtained by NBC News. Sandy Parr, food service...
the source of this is the people who are not getting paid right now.
Food service foreman at Federal Medical Center in Rochester, Sandy Parr says, quote, "You're given a gift to somebody who committed a crime, but yet you won't pay the people who are supervising them. It's frustrating and maddening," she says. The shutdown marks the latest hardship.
I can't imagine why they do chicken wings. Chicken wings have become the most expensive part of the bird at this point.
Is that right?
I mean, they're extraordinarily expensive.
They probably had a bunch of extras or something.
Thighs. I mean, you could just take thighs and bread them and put hot sauce on them.
The only way I believe this remotely is if they did it just to mess with the guards.
Okay. Well,
otherwise, I do not.
Do you have to
believe
hear
this
from an
factually.
inmate directly, a prisoner directly, so you would believe?
I have to see it because this story is completely
You would not believe
ridiculous.
an inmate who told you they
No,
had
I
steak?
agree with Melanie at this point. They've just shown their hand. As reported by the food service lady who's not getting a paycheck, you're giving away chicken wings, the most expensive part of bird, and you won't pay me! I'm better!
They have documents, okay? You can get, through Freedom of Information Act requests, the order forms from these...
Not in 3 days, you can't!
It might have went to a banquet.
There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Mark is riled up about prison food. We haven't even really gotten into the meat, so to speak, of this story.
There wasn't any meat to get into.
You mean at your prison?
Or the overwhelming majority of prisons on the continent.
Well,
I don't know.
We do have a number of prisoners who listen to this program because, well, they don't have anything better to do.
And they can write us letters, and we'll get them in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's probably like a month. But yeah, they will. Some of them can call in. We've actually had that happen before. The toll-free number here, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Or maybe you were on the inside of a facility of some sort, whether it's state-run or federal, and you want to comment to what things were like and if they did get any better on Christmas Day or New Year's Day. That was my experience with Thanksgiving and Christmas when I was behind bars. No, I didn't stay for Christmas. I was there for wait a minute. No, I wasn't even there for Thanksgiving. It was just a random night where we had a really nice Thanksgiving dinner, and it wasn't even Thanksgiving.
I would say that meals got better in the sense that portions got better on holidays.
No, I mean an increase in quality.
I understand that's what you mean.
Yeah.
That is not what I mean.
Yeah. Did you guys what kind of desserts did you get? Did you ever get like cake?
Sometimes they have like the sheet cake that they cut into shapes, that kind of thing. So you hoped for a larger piece because somebody who's cutting it is, got an
pineapple upside down.
They have an 80 IQ and they're pretty angry about most things most of the time. So the shapes tend to be pretty odd. Little parallelograms that can be larger and smaller. But if an inmate called in, I wouldn't believe them either. Because they have a horse in the race. You see, at this point...
You think the inmate would lie to you and tell you they got better food than they did?
No, they would lie to me and tell me they got worse food.
Okay.
In order to make their case.
What if you knew the inmate?
Well, then I'd be more likely to believe them because that's how human beings are.
You also can't verify that... Well, the call screener can, I guess, verify that they're an inmate, but you don't...
Usually you can hear the shouting in the background, and so you can kind of know.
I can make a call and make there be shouting in the background.
But it's got to be echoey shouting. So it can't just be like in a bathroom and somebody shouting
I can stand in a
outside
big living room and have people shout around me.
You could do it.
Nothing is verified.
Writing down the words verbatim of a correctional officer who is currently not getting paid and trying to make a case that they should be paid while inmates do not receive high-quality cuts of food is a dubious claim at best.
All right, we continue here. You can bring up whatever you want. We go to Rick in West Virginia. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, guys. Hey, Mark, gotta be honest, I'm really digging your tie. I was just wondering if you could suck my dick.
Nope, you can't say that on the radio either. We've been targeted over the last few days here by some folks, I presume, who are watching us on our Twitch feed. Because he did comment on your tie.
That's why I wore it. It was for the Twitch people to confuse them.
You just wanted them to call in with profanities?
No,
waste our time.
When they're trolling Twitch, what are they doing? They're looking for boobs. They suddenly see a guy in a suit. Well, that's not supposed to be on Twitch. Usually this is for, unshorn millennials and women who are nearly topless. What is this going here? And so I figured it'd catch some attention.
Yeah, just a reminder, if you're new to the show, we are a radio program first and foremost. If you would like to call and say things that you can't say on the radio, tomorrow night we are going to have a Free Talk Live after show on Twitch, and then you can say all kinds of dirty things, and we won't have to hit the dump button. it won't matter.
We won't.
Yeah, we won't.
Yeah.
We don't care about what you just said. It's just that our radio stations would get pretty upset.
He hurt my feelings.
Yeah, if that made it to the
Ian, he hurt my feelings.
Are you gonna cry? Are you gonna have a good cry?
Right. He said something naughty.
Let's continue here.
I've never heard anything like that.
Let's see if this is one of them. Dan in Maryland, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Dan.
Hit me with it, Dan.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello?
You're on the radio.
All right, so those guys calling earlier, you guys are really dumb. All right, you're wasting your time. You need to grow up.
Well,
All right, so
they do like to do what they call clipping on Twitch, where they can clip the last 60 seconds as their trophy, right? Because on Twitch, whatever it is they say goes out, because we don't have Twitch behind a dump, because it doesn't matter. But we have, of course, our radio stations protected behind a dump machine. So those people, the actual big audience, never hears whatever it is that they said. So for the most part, they're wasting their time. But they do get their little Twitch trophy.
Yeah, I don't do much of the internet stuff, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, Dan, we believe you. Go
All
ahead.
right, hit me with it.
Go ahead with your call. We're ready.
Hey, if you're going to use a cuss word, use one amazing one that I haven't heard before.
All right. Probably won't happen, but anyway, so my uncle has been to jail, and he was telling me stories about, like, you guys were saying that, like, they try to beef up all these people and make them big.
You think they're trying to feed the inmates to make them more muscular?
I think they're trying to make them sluggish.
They do have access to weight rooms in some prisons.
Yeah, my uncle was telling me, he said that that's some of the plans that they're doing in the prisons, because he said some guys would come in, like, really small, and they'd all get fucked in the ass.
Oh, you can't say that. And we've heard that before. Come on now. So the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Let's address the issue, though, of people, working out in prison, because that is definitely something that happens. They have nothing else to do with their time. You did some working out in prison. You said you used to be skinny like me.
Yeah, I used to be skinnier than you. I went into prison at 5'11" and probably 130 pounds, if that gives you some notion of how big I was. And, like you, I started eating regular meals and probably put on 15 or 20 pounds just by eating regular meals and not doing drugs and all the things that one does, getting 8 hours of sleep at night.
You don't skip a meal in prison unless you really want to.
And then you got to have something to do. So, I had a roommate who took me off to the weight pile at some point, showed me how to work out, and I went from probably, what I say, 20 pounds on 150 to probably about 195. And, that's a bit more muscle on the frame. I certainly had people comment on it when I got out. I was an entirely different looking person.
Yeah. So, is that something prisoners should be able to do? And is it part of some grand conspiracy theory?
I don't understand why one would want somebody to not be healthier. Like, what is
Well, doesn't that answer your question earlier about whether you have good food or crappy food? Like, if you want people to be healthier, you'd want to feed them a little bit better, right? Because you have the question of, well, why are they feeding? Why are some inmates getting fed better at some facilities?
Sure. Well, I can answer the question. Money. So the answer to the question is why you wouldn't want to feed better is that you can cut down costs by cutting the meal cost from $2 down to $1.33. That's a huge
Can you get the same
savings.
nutrition for 30 cents versus $2?
However, when it comes to the weight pile, no one pays for it. The taxpayer never paid for 1 pound of steel on that weight pile.
Were they donated?
No, they were from the Inmate Welfare Fund. They sold, cupcakes and Snickers bars, and the inmate.
Well, they have a bake sale.
Yeah, basically. Except nobody could bake. And
get some prison hooch. Sell that out of there.
No, they can't do that. That would be very bad news. And then they take 20% profits. Part of that goes to running the inmate canteen, and the other part of it then goes to buy basketballs and weight piles. So and the televisions and all this, the programming that's paid for, the educational programming that goes on the televisions, all that stuff then comes out of the Inmate Welfare Fund. So anybody who complains that their tax dollars goes for blah, blah, blah. Well, that wasn't true where I was at any point.
So we continue here. I think this person's an actual real caller. Bad Slave on the line in New Hampshire. Bad Slave, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
All right, you're on.
You know that I have spent some time in different cages, Valley Street, Grafton County, and
And state prison.
Concord and
state prison, too.
And, yes,
it's convicts on parade here on Free Talk Live.
All right, so what was your experience with, were you in over any holidays, and did you get an increased quality meal on a holiday?
I got a total of 2 years of cage time,
right?
And sampled holidays in I think most facilities, and they would boost up the meals. They would be the nice meals would be.
Can you describe?
Holidays,
on Thanksgiving or Christmas what a meal might have looked like, or do you remember any of it?
Well, it's not going to be as nice as people's tables,
no, of course not.
in the normal.
I wouldn't say it was.
But for cafeteria food, it was very good, and
and a cut above what you normally received, right? It was definitely notably better than what you normally received. Yep.
And I think I got actually the best food in Grafton County. And they actually grow it there, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, but
that's pretty impressive.
They're also, I think they do some of that up in, in Concord, and
they do it in Angola too, America's worst prison.
All right,
but I'm just going to say that in general, I think is too many carbs.
As far as prison food is concerned.
Yeah, tell them your special diet, paleo.
Bad Slave, thank you for calling with that detail. Hopefully Mark took that seriously, because we actually know who that guy is, right? So that was one of your qualifiers. You'd be more likely to believe. Do you believe what he said?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Bad Slave. We appreciate it. More coming up here in moments. Hour number 2 is next. You can take control of the airwaves here. This is Free Talk Live.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 76280. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 76280. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280.
There are basically two types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 7th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,292 per ounce. Smart Cash is trading at 1.45 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,024. Antiwar.com reports out of Yemen's Hodeidah province say both sides have traded artillery fire over the weekend. While both sides have traded accusations of starting it and of violating the ceasefire, it is yet unclear who actually fired first. Since reaching a ceasefire deal last month in Hodeidah province, fighting had dropped substantially in the area. Though there has been intermittent fighting and artillery fire, it is still much less violent and the ceasefire continues to hold. There are some UN monitors in Hodeidah now, having arrived in recent weeks, though so far they don't appear to have issued a statement on what happened over the weekend. This may suggest they won't be providing updates unless the ceasefire is in serious jeopardy. This comes as UN envoy Martin Griffiths is visiting the Yemeni capital of Sana'a to visit the Houthi members. This is his first visit to the country since the Sweden peace talks. Further talks are expected later this month. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc. UPI reports the U.S. National Park Service announced Sunday that it will use reserved money from visitor fees to fund operations of parks affected by the ongoing partial government shutdown. Deputy Director of the National Park Service, P. Daniel Smith, said the agency was taking the extraordinary step of using entrance, camping, parking, and other fees collected from park visitors that would typically be used for future projects at parks to fund the most highly visited parks. Smith said while the NPS will not be able to fully open parks and many of the smaller sites around the country will remain closed, utilizing these funds now will allow the American public to safely visit many of our nation's national parks while providing these iconic treasures the protection they deserve. The funds will be used to clean up trash, clean and maintain restrooms, bring additional law enforcement rangers into parks to patrol accessible areas, and restore accessibility to areas that have so far been off limits due to the shutdown. The statement did not clarify how much money would be spent or which parks would receive the funding. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Sunday he was in no hurry to find permanent replacements for 1/4 of his cabinet currently serving in an acting capacity because it gives him more flexibility. Trump told reporters as he departed for Camp David for meetings on the partial government shutdown, "I am in no hurry." About 1/4 of the U.S. federal government has been shuttered for more than 2 weeks, and about 800,000 government workers have been either furloughed or working without pay. Trump said, "I like acting. It gives me more flexibility. Do you understand that? I like acting, so we have a few that are acting. We have a great cabinet." He did not elaborate on why they give him more flexibility. There are 24 cabinet-level positions, and 6 are currently filled by individuals who are serving in an acting capacity after the departure of members confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Other than the White House Chief of Staff and the Vice President, cabinet-level officials require confirmation by the U.S. Senate. Federal law allows the president to temporarily fill vacancies by appointing acting department heads who are already employees there. Trump said last month he was in no hurry to name a new defense secretary after Jim Mattis quit over policy differences, and he has praised the acting secretary, Patrick Shanahan. David Barnhart is acting secretary of the Interior Department, while Matthew Whitaker is acting attorney general. Andrew Wheeler is the acting head of the Environmental Protection Agency, while Mick Mulvaney is the acting White House Chief of Staff. Jonathan Cohen is acting ambassador to the United Nations. In the first 2 years of Trump's presidency, there have been a 65% turnover rate among senior-level advisors, according to the Brookings Institute, a Washington think tank. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
After logging onto the Xbox One game console at one of his classmates' homes, 12-year-old Michael Cutler admitted to reporters this week that he really does not have the slightest clue about what his friend's name could be.
I mean, his name might be Brian. No, wait, Brian's my other friend, the one with the PS4. Yeah, if I'm being totally honest, there's no way I can tell you his name. Not a chance.
Noting that the boy had, quote, an absolutely huge HD TV and a bunch of games his mom won't let him play, Cutler confirmed that he could recall only the faintest details about his friend, including the fact that his mother makes chocolate chip cookies and that he has a dog of some kind.
He's got Killer Instinct, Assassin's Creed, Battlefield 4, and Titanfall? Man, that game's awesome. Anyway, I've just been calling him Flamethrower because that's his gamer tag. Hopefully he doesn't catch on. Hey, can I stick around for a few more hours? I'm so close to beating this.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free to join us here as we launch into yet another hour of fun where you can take control of the airwaves and bring up anything that you want on Free Talk Live. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
By the way, want to welcome another affiliate of ours that has been on for weekends previously and now is coming on every weekday, WGOW-FM in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Welcome aboard to our listeners there. Where we've been on now for, I would say, several months on the weekends. I think, actually, we started almost a year ago, according to our affiliates list over at affiliates.freetalklive.com. It was February of 2018. GOW is an interesting station because there are actually two WGOW. So in the FCC parlance, there's the AM set of call letters, and then there's the FM set of call letters.
Often they're owned by the same company.
But not always.
Not always. Yeah. Usually they were owned by the same company and then were sold off.
Or sometimes they're owned by the same company, but they'll hold them in different markets.
Yeah.
So in this case, both calls are in the same market in Chattanooga there, and one's an AM, which we're on the AM on weekends. The AM had us on for an hour on weeknights. They no longer have the weeknight show, and that's now moved over to the FM side, which honestly, if we have to choose one or the other, FM's a better fit for Free Talk Live.
So both the AM and the FM are talk? And
That's
different
correct.
Programming?
Yeah, that's what's interesting about it.
That is very interesting.
There are two Cumulus stations. They're big stations, lots of listeners there. So welcome to the folks listening to us on 102.3 WGOW there in Chattanooga. They're grabbing the last 2 hours of our 3-hour show live. So they're just now starting in this hour. If you're just tuning into us, we have been talking about the government shutdown and how it's affecting some of these government bureaucracies. Specifically, in this case, the Bureau of Prisons.
Because this is an interesting one, right?
Yeah.
Like they stop paying the prison guards. What happens?
Yeah.
When, presumably they've got to make ends meet. They got to pay the mortgages. So what are they going to do? Are they going to stop coming to work?
Last week was, no matter what your job is, no matter how much you love it, how long are you going to go without a paycheck before you finally say, I got to find something else? And already TSA employees in the last week have been calling out of work big time. In the case of JFK Airport, it was 170 employees per day were calling out of the TSA. And we went into detail on that on our Saturday night show. The story we've got here is from NBCnews.com, where the shutdown marks the latest hardship for a group of roughly 36,000 federal employees who've been complaining about staff shortages. Now, to be clear, 36,000 within the Bureau of Prisons. Okay, so the federal shutdown is affecting about 800,000 federal employees. About half of those are being told, stay home, don't come in, we'll pay you after you come back, so they're going to get paid for staying home. But the other half, the other 400,000, of which the Bureau of Prisons is included, they're being told, come into work or you're going to get fired, and if you keep coming into work, eventually the paychecks will come. Eventually, these governments will get funded. These portions of the government will get funded, and they'll get their pay. But that doesn't help them get the bills paid.
Yeah, the
right?
electricity company doesn't care.
Right. The
electricity,
mortgage.
actually, they'll let you go for a little while, especially if you give them a reasonably good excuse. But the bank isn't going to care.
Nope,
they're going to
pay the mortgage.
They're going to charge you interest on that mortgage right off.
So, in addition to working without pay, many of the prison staffers, including correctional officers, were ordered to cut vacations short or face a loss in wages and possible administrative punishment, including suspensions. Adding to the staffers' bitter feelings, the working inmates were still drawing government paychecks for their prison jobs, which include painting buildings.
I mean, that whole 50 cent, though, like...
Cooking meals and mowing lawns. That's true. You're not exaggerating there. We actually get... from a guy who's in federal prison, we get his full paycheck every month, and it literally is 50 cents. At least that's what he says. He says that's his full paycheck.
I believe because most jobs, 50 cents an hour is like a lawyer or a doctor, you got arrested rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually closer to like 2 to 10 cents an hour. And you still got to pay taxes on that. And you can't claim your own exemptions.
So,
You got to pay taxes on all of it.
According to the president of the American Federation of Government Employees, it's a union. This is Joe Rojas. He says this is like kicking someone when they're down. In an interview with NBC News, Rojas said some inmates mocked the demoralized prison staffers while feasting on a New Year's Day lunch of grilled
If you
steak.
can't handle being mocked, slave drivers, not the job for you.
Right.
Well, it's unwise.
It is.
They had a meal.
But you should be able to handle it.
It's a rough place, though. I mean, people just talk rough to each other.
Yep. They mocked them while feasting on a New Year's Day lunch of grilled steak, garlic macaroni biscuits, and assorted holiday pies.
All right. So, again, Ian, I'd like to point out that the person who wrote this article cited as their source a person who, the correctional officer,
Yes.
and the correctional officer has
They
now...
cited papers. They cited documents. And
I also want to debate
provided
the
by.
definition of the word steak with this person because we're not talking about steak. We might be talking about something like country fried steak.
Maybe,
that's
maybe.
unidentifiable squish breaded. But no, it's not steak.
But at this point, the story is in all likelihood being reported by a correctional officer. The inmates made fun of us about not getting paychecks while they had lavish meals. I mean, what does that make you as the normal normal listening public? What is that going to make one think? Well, this is clearly bad. We should not bad.
Well, it's
we
worth
shouldn't be
pointing
bad.
out-
This bad.
Well, it's worth pointing out that the jail guards usually eat the same food as the inmates at a lot of facilities. So the jail guards were also eating steak. If the inmates were eating steak, so were the jail guards at many of these places. But the point you made in the last hour, Mark, was that you wanted people to know that meals are not normally this good when it comes to jail.
I don't suspect meals are this good. I think they're just
You're saying they're
reporting
exaggerating it.
Yes, I believe that.
Let me add this in here, Mark, because we actually, the same inmate that I was telling you about before, I guess prisoner, because there's a difference, right? Inmates are in jail, prisoners are in prison. Anyway.
No, they called us inmates in prison.
Did they? Okay. So anyway, the same prisoner in this particular case who's contacted the show got into a situation with a bit of an ice cream controversy, scandal. I guess scandal would be the right term, right? Because this prisoner found out that the guards had been munching on some delicious flavored ice cream from Baskin-Robbins in the back. And all the while, the prisoners were only getting vanilla. So what was happening was the prison guards were grabbing all the good flavors for themselves, basically. They were ordering, cookies and cream and, Rocky Road and mint chocolate chip, you name it. They were getting all the good stuff in large, 5-gallon buckets or whatever they were. And they know this because the prisoner was able to do a Freedom of Information Act and actually get the order forms.
Uh-huh.
So they got from the prisons the order forms. Now, you're right. It didn't take them a week to do this, right? Because Freedom of Information takes some time. But they did get the dirt that proved that there were indeed that prison was being delivered large amounts of ice cream that never made it to the prison floor.
I wish that when I was in prison, they had served me Baskin-Robbins ice cream in vanilla.
Yeah.
The rare occasion that we did get ice cream, it was out of date and of such low quality that I would give it away. I mean, it wasn't a treat.
Yeah, they gave us those crappy little cup ice cream.
It was a little
things.
cup, and it was really low quality stuff. I mean, I don't think that they could legally call it ice cream. I don't know what it was.
Well, actually, if they can't call it ice cream, then they would have some other term on the label, like frozen dairy dessert is what you'll see.
Any guarantees that it didn't?
Well, it's been too long. You don't remember what it was.
I certainly don't.
But I do remember at least ours was called ice cream. What we did have, because I would have noticed if it was a frozen dairy dessert. If you actually go into your grocery store and look at the ice cream shelves, I'm going to put ice cream in quotes now, because this is actually one of the things that companies are doing to cut back on the product quality and keep the price the same. So like Breyers is one of the people, or one of the groups that is doing this. So specifically look at Breyers and look for the ones that say frozen dairy dessert. That's not ice cream. It doesn't have enough cream in it to be considered. May have some milk, but it doesn't have enough cream in it in order for it to be considered legally as ice cream.
And I will give you your just desserts on this one. You really are an expert when it comes to the ingredients and the size and the weight
and shape and portions
of
yeah.
ice cream.
Yep.
You pay attention.
I do. The frozen dairy dessert is inferior. It's an inferior product, in my opinion. Toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE. More about the frustrations that are happening to the poor Bureau of Prisons employees. Coming up here in moments. But what is going to happen if they walk off the job? That's really the big question we haven't even gotten to here yet. We've just been talking about ice cream and prison food. It's Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up, and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features Smart Rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn Smart Rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 Smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart Rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here. We are talking about the government so-called shutdown. Some of these departments are actually going without pay, at least if they make it to Friday with this thing still shut down. A lot of people are going to miss a paycheck. About 400,000, roughly, government employees are going to miss a paycheck.
Almost 500,000.
Who have to work. The other 400,000 are going to miss the paycheck, and they don't have to show up to work. So we're talking about the ones that are showing up still, some of them, and they're not happy about having to work and not sure if they're going to actually get paid this Friday.
Right. At the very least, if you're not working and not going to get a paycheck, you can go do something with your time to presumably make a little money.
Time, yeah.
However, if you've got to work in the hopes, in the likelihood that you will be paid at some point in the future, that's not going to appease the bank that holds your mortgage or the Starbucks or wherever it is that where your money goes.
Right, and the longer it goes, the more difficult your financial situation is going to become.
I wonder if you walked into Starbucks and said, "I'm a federal employee and I'm not getting paid."
Would they give you free coffee?
Would they give you
coffee?
Free coffee?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's go to your calls and thoughts here. We can get back into that story because there is more to it from NBC. But first, we go to a gentleman who I haven't had on the air here in way too long. He's Robert Mathias, the former host of the Rebel Love Show. Hello, Rob. How are you?
How's it going, guys? Long time. It's been about, I think, like 2.5 years since I've been on radio.
Yeah, it's been at least that. You are, by the way, joining us on Discord, and we didn't have a whole lot of time to do some testing beforehand. Hopefully this will work out, because you told me off the air you were in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and have kind of questionable data coverage, so I appreciate you trying to get a better call quality here with us tonight. For those that aren't familiar, it's funny that you happen to call in. You told me you were going to, but it's funny that you happen to reach out to do this, because within the last month, I've actually had a couple of listeners say, "Whatever happened to the Rebel Love Show?" And I said, well, he kind of moved on, wanted to focus in a different area. You kind of got into, deep into the hippie community, I guess, for lack of a better term. You made a documentary film, and you've been busy.
Oh, I've been very, very busy. I've been on a quest for my seers.
A quest for what? I'm sorry, you cut out there for just a moment.
I've been on a quest. I've been on a quest for my soul, which has been leading me to Central America, where I will Belize and Costa Rica for the next 3.5 months.
Oh, wow. Mark, you've actually been down to, I know you went to Belize. Did you get into Costa Rica at all?
No, I've never been to Costa Rica, although my wife has.
Yeah, so that sounds like fun. Now, you originally, I think, told me when we met each other, I think, I don't know, within the last year at some point, that you've got a bus and you were going to take a bus down there, but that plan's changed. So what's it look like? How's the future shaping up for you?
So just to catch people what I've been doing, when I left, when I put the series finale of the Rebel Love Show, I started a production company which turned into White Mountain Funk. I do photography, videography, and the music festival. I also, in that time frame, I launched a mobile vending business in the music festival world called Hostel Del Funk. $5 cold brew coffees all day long at music festivals and fairs. And I also bus into a tiny home. I planned on driving that down to Costa Rica in the last 1.5 years. I shot for the moon, but I'm in orbit, and I'm really happy with that.
Okay.
But my journey, the flow of life, is taking me still to Costa Rica. But I will be back at the end of April.
What was it that inspired you to reach back out and want to get back on and kind of update folks? Because it's been a while.
I've had multiple people that were fans of the Rebel Love Show, wanted me to reach out and kind of update where my life is. I've had multiple people reach out.
Right on. That's cool. Because I remember the last time I invited you to come on, it was from Hemp Fest, and you were judging the hemp cup or whatever they called it, like the cannabis cup, and you were just up in the room, totally blazed, and you're like, dude, I'm not coming on.
How could he possibly? I'll say this about Belize. Rob. God, sorry.
I was in no condition during Hempfest to jump on the air at Hempfest. No, that was at the New Hampshire Cannabis Freedom Rally.
That's right, the first
one. I was a judge at a legal
cannabis.
Yeah, and I was in no condition.
Yeah.
After that cannabis cup.
Mark, you wanted to add something about Belize?
Yeah, just saying about Belize. San Ignacio is amazing. There's lots of tourist locations in Belize, and those are great. But San Ignacio is very, as you would expect, sort of things to be in Central America, very villagey and really cool. Loved it when I was there, and go check that out.
What's the capital? Is that Belize City or what is it?
Belize City, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting up with Murdoch Biscotti of Come and Take It, Texas. And we're actually going to go check out San Ignacio and the Mayan ruins in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that guy's, he used to do a great show as well, if I recall correctly. Hey,
and he's still a great hardcore activist, too.
Yeah, are you guys going to make it down to Anarchapulco at all? You going to be down in that range?
No, I have opportunities in Costa Rica that I can't pass up.
Yeah,
that I need to go.
It sounds exciting. I got to say though, if you're going to be down in Central America, Anarchapulco is going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be close to 3,000 people. I think they've sold 2,500 tickets already. It's a huge thing. They're going to rent out the entire resort this time around. They got Ron Paul coming once again, so it's likely going to be a sellout. But we were there last year and for the past couple of years, and it's I would say it is the best event. Like, it's topped the best Pork Fests at this point. It's a very, very big event and lots of fun. So if you can't make it this year, if you're still floating around down there next year, it might be worth the trip.
Might be. I'm a snowbird now in my 30s, and I need to spend every winter for the rest of my life down in the tropics. Like, I love
understand.
New Hampshire, but I hate the cold. Like, I was made for this life, but not this cold.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, thank you for calling in tonight. I feel free to call us from the road if you are, traveling. You got interesting stories because, as you know, if you're on the road, there's always going to be interesting stories, especially in places like Central America. And so, feel free to keep in touch with us over the years. Always appreciate it. And thank you for your call here tonight. That's Robert Mathias, former host of the Rebel Love Show. They're getting ready to. He's still technically in New Hampshire. He is, or he was up until he went to visit some folks there in Michigan. So, getting ready to change his life.
Nothing wrong with Snowbird.
Yeah. And he did a great documentary film about the Hemp Fest. I don't know if you remember one of the years, Mark, we were there. They had people with cameras were walking around doing interviews and stuff. And that was him. He was putting together a big show, full feature length, hour and a half long documentary film about the New Hampshire Hemp Fest. And it's available online. I actually went to his premiere that he did at a club down in Manchester probably about a year or so ago. He did a great job with it. So he had actually brought in the ideas of liberty into the hippie community. So taking the ideas of freedom, which should appeal to everybody, and introducing them to an audience that, let's say, people like Gary Johnson aren't going to be able to reach. So I thought that was really important work. Anyway, we continue. You can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. More about the situation in the federal prisons and what's going on there with guards possibly going to miss their first paycheck coming up here on Friday. I'm going to predict, I think Trump wants to have the longest record. I think he wants to have the longest record government shutdown. And we're going to make a new record coming up at the end of the week. I can only hope. We're coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
A doctor's office visit for erectile dysfunction on my smartphone? That's crazy.
No, that's thebestedpill.com. ED can affect 40% of men by age 40. Now, there's a 95% less expensive option than Viagra. After a live confidential video consult with a fully licensed doctor, we ship medicines fast, free, and direct in discreet packaging. Read thousands of 5-star reviews. Click thebestedpill.com. That's bestedpill.com, the online doctor's office. Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid-rich, full-spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Good morning. Later this afternoon, I will be engaging in an extramarital affair. Of course, I will wish that I had never made the horrible mistake I'm about to spend several hours making, but sadly, I'm currently too blinded by greed and lust to care about or consider the consequences of my actions. The liaison I will be taking part in shortly with 2 poor deaf teenage runaways is in direct opposition to the values you elected me to uphold. I also wish to apologize to my wife, Linda, to my 2 beautiful children, Allison and Christopher. It hurts me more than you will ever know that this scandal will impact your life so terribly. I can only pray that the revelations you will soon hear concerning my fetishes, physical flexibility, and penis will not scar you to the point of dementia. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get to the hotel immediately, so I will not be taking questions. Thank you.
This is the Onion News Network.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Join us on the radio here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, which is where Rob was there just a few moments ago. And it sounded mostly okay, but it was kind of janky because if you don't have a good data connection, then Discord's not going to be an improvement. But generally, if you got a good connection, it sounds like you're sitting here in the studio with us. In the studio, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Mark.
And by the way, Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com, where they're announcing their partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. You wanted to buy stuff with your Bitcoin Cash? This makes it easy because you can just buy gift cards for hundreds of brands that you're familiar with, many of them like Applebee's, Domino's, Home Depot, Uber, Hotels.com, Nike, and many more. You go to giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on the screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight, and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. Go to giftcards.bitcoin.com. As we continue here, we will take your calls and thoughts about what you want. Larry is in Indianapolis listening to WIBC FM. Go ahead, Larry, although I don't think we're on WIBC tonight. Normally, that's how you listen. Go ahead.
Well, I just had to get something off my mind from Saturday's program.
All right.
Everybody's talking about the poor federal workers, right? They really don't have a problem that 3% won't solve. All they 3%? Have to do, that money's out. What I mean is that they can go to any checking the cash, or since there's so many of them, they can get an arrangement set up with payday loan companies and pay 3%, and keep on
3%?
walking.
Payday loans are not 3%.
Hey, I know you say that, but back up a little bit. What I'm saying is that since that money is out there, maybe $1 billion or so dollars, anybody's going to take that money because they know it's a sure thing. They'll take a 3% float on that, some hedge fund, and give them their money right away. So I think we're sympathizing with the wrong people. They knew what they were getting.
Are you following what he's proposing here?
Yeah, what he's saying is that when the payday loan companies give larger percentage loans because they're not sure if they're going to get paid. However, they are sure that they're going to get paid by
From the
federal
government?
employees.
But they're not going to ad hoc that.
What does that mean to ad hoc it?
They're not going to evaluate each individual thing and be like, oh, you're high risk, you're low risk, you're medium risk. That is not how they operate.
Here's what they do.
Well, I think what he's saying is you want them to get into contract with the federal government to cover the federal government is what you're saying, right?
What's going to happen is after this is all over, the employees can just sue the federal government and get their 3% back. So what we're making is
I wonder about that because you'd think that they would have done that before.
Congress, you think Congress won't give them that 3% back? Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the gang, they'll rush to do that because they don't want to lose another election. So it's just a situation where we're going all overboard talking about these poor people, which some of them probably make more than we make.
Oh, yeah.
They have money laid up for that.
You know, it would be good PR. I mean, I'm no fan of the federal government, and I don't have a bunch of. And Larry, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. I have no love for the federal government and a lot of what they do. But from a PR perspective, if AmScott or whoever it is that does payday loans, I don't know if AmScott does payday loans, but those companies, if one of them steps up and says, if you're a federal employee and you're not getting paid this week, come on down to AmScott, we'll get you taken care of. That would be probably some good PR for them.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad Larry brought it up. I think that is somewhat of a solution.
I don't know if that's legal.
I do think, however, you can probably go to your bank and get a signature loan.
What's that?
It's just a loan that says I'm going to pay.
Okay. Presuming you've had an account for a while.
It's just uncollateralized loan.
Yeah, get some kind of loan from a bank, and most federal employees are going to have bank accounts, and then they can solve those problems. For some percentage.
Part of the problem is just because the feds are good for it doesn't mean you're good for it. So I go get a payday loan, the money's coming. Yeah. That doesn't mean I'm going to pay you
to pay it back.
Just because the feds are going to pay me doesn't mean I'm going to pay you.
Right, and they're not going to be able to call up their pay.
It's not as guaranteed as all that.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to call up the payroll department at the Bureau of Prisons and get them to cut a check to AmScott.
No,
to make good. They're relying on that person to come in and pay off the loan.
Yeah, I don't know how they collect, but they seem to be pretty good at it.
So if you want to join us here, the discussion open to you, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
This would be the only circumstance you're ever going to hear me suggest taking out some kind of loan, that kind of thing. I don't suggest taking out loans. As far as I'm concerned, the borrower is the slave of the lender.
Well, I would suggest quit your job if you are working for the federal government because, as you pointed out, Melanie, it's technically immoral to take money that's being provided at the threat of a gun. Essentially they're using violence to get taxes out of people.
I think I pointed out that it was immoral to be a slave driver being a guard at a prison or a cop of any kind.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying it's not immoral for an accountant position at the same facility?
It's different. I'm not saying it's not immoral, but it's different.
Well, you're not directly putting somebody in handcuffs.
There are also other arguments there. So say you worked making $1 million a year and they're taking a third of that from you for 40 years and you're like, you know what? I just want to kind of lay back for a minute. I'm going to work at the library for, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That you're getting your own money back. So I'm not ready to say every single government employee is stealing. Because that's probably not the case. It's the case in probably most instances. But I don't have 100% proof that on you that's the case. If your job description involves aggression.
Do you think this is a...
No, I disagree with this statement. Okay. I disagree with both of you on this one. So if there's a person who goes around and robs people at gunpoint, if necessary, to get their money, and then goes to the middle of town and hands out $10 bills. Taking a $10 bill even if you have not been robbed, is not immoral. You are not propagating theft.
But if you know that person got it from stealing,
you can try to do something good with the money, but he's only going to give out. He's just going to give out $10 bills.
Otherwise,
right?
he's going to keep it.
Right. Otherwise, he just keeps it.
Yeah.
So it's not the thieves steal, and just accepting money that is stolen does not make you a thief. I will, however, say that if you're a pawn shop operator and you know that this one guy is robbing houses and you're constantly buying from him, then you're propping him up.
All right, we can continue the discussion, but let's go to the phones first. Jess is on the line in Virginia. Jess, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Melanie, and Mark.
Hey guys,
hey
this
there.
is Jess Mears with the Libertarian Party.
Hey Jess. Well, hello there.
Hi. So I wanted to call in because Jackie kind of made a statement that nobody ever calls into Free Talk Live but complains about lack of media attention all the time.
Nobody from the Libertarian Party calls in. Yes.
We've had a bunch of Twitch kids calling in tonight.
Well, you might not know that because they all got dumped. But
yeah. Anyway, here you are.
Yeah,
what were you calling about?
This past weekend, a group of libertarians got together and did a trash cleanup on the National Mall.
I saw that
it was
story.
Organized so we organized with 48 hours notice, and I didn't expect there'd be very many people that would come. I was really thinking it would just be the people that I know, and we'd just kind of do it together and maybe take a few pictures. But it was a really overwhelming experience to see all these people just kind of come, and not only did they show up, but they showed up early. And so we've had probably about 40 people when all was said and done just come together, and there wasn't an overwhelming amount of trash around D.C. because the city came in and collected it, but there was still plenty of trash for us to pick up.
Now tell me this, the National Mall, isn't that where the Washington Monument is?
Yeah, we were right by the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Monument area.
Now is that technically a park? Is that a federal park?
Yeah, it is.
No, people have been unsure about what's been going on during this government shutdown, because in previous shutdowns, they've said that many of these parks were actually barricaded off. Was that your experience? Did you guys have to, go around barricades?
At all.
Interesting.
No, and I've been out in the mall the past few weeks, and so up until the beginning of January, the museums were all open, but then they closed recently.
All right, stand by if you don't mind. Jess is there in the belly of the beast in D.C., and this government shutdown, in the past has affected the national parks. So we'll find out what it's like right now. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll-free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial in here, the toll-free number. If you want to join us on the radio, it's 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. And I want to say thank you to, I think it's Gunnaman 2002, who is a Free Talk Live amplifier. And I apologize, whoever it is that wrote this on here did not write whether he was a silver amplifier or not. That's the default. You forgot to mention him last night, Mark, so it's probably your fault. But thank you.
Why is it my fault? I didn't write it.
Gunnaman, well, you should have, because you were responsible for that. So Gunnaman 2002, thank you for being a Free Talk Live amplifier. At minimum, he's a silver. Maybe he's higher up than that. $5 a month is all it takes to support what we do here at Free Talk Live, which is to say broadcasting the ideas of freedom 7 days a week on 190 plus radio stations. Now, to be clear, not all of them take us all 7 days per week, but over that whole week, we are heard on over 190 radio stations, and we're going to be adding a couple new ones here this week. We brought a few new stations, or a few existing stations, onto our weekday show this week, which is very exciting. And coming up this weekend, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to, and we're not allowed to really say anything about it, but I will say this. We should be getting on an FM signal in one of the nation's biggest cities.
That is correct.
This will be a big...
Let me repeat that. FM signal.
FM talk, yeah.
Yeah. America's biggest cities.
A brand new station as well. So they're going to launch with Free Talk Live as part of their weekend lineup, which I'm very excited about. But we can't say anything more until the embargo is lifted and all the details can come out. But Jess is in Virginia, and she's in the D.C. area. Jess Mears from the Libertarian Party there in the National Libertarian Party. You were talking about something that a bunch of libertarians did this weekend, and that is you guys picked up the reins of responsibility for taking care of one of the parks there in D.C. and did a trash pickup.
Yeah, so the national news kind of was showing pictures about the national parks all last week, and we decided, let's take this opportunity now while the government shut down at least partially, and the media is focusing on national parks every other sentence. So we went out and we did a trash pickup, and there wasn't a lot of trash because the city took over for trash collection. Since there was
really?
That big outlash from the media. Yeah, so it was picked up. It wasn't like there's trash like everywhere we were stepping. But we did. I mean, of course, there's always going to be a litter with that many people walking around. So we did find things and
So what you're saying is here, we don't need the federal government to actually have parks. We could actually have parks without the federal government.
Yeah, what the point I made is that I think they should be privatized, and there's some really interesting history behind the National Mall there.
Really?
I don't know if you guys know this, but the person who donated money to America to enhance education in the United States donated about $500,000 of money at the time, which is millions of dollars now.
Right.
And that became the mall. And that person had never stepped a foot in America, but donated that money in his will. So the mall was actually inspired by an act of charity to the United States. And now it's costing like $1 billion or more a year to maintain the mall.
Right.
So it's just kind of funny. But like, I made the point that they should probably be privatized.
Yeah.
Only the government could pay $1 billion to mow some grass.
Well, we're up here in New Hampshire, as you probably know, and a lot of the parks up here are actually very much privately run. They're still run technically by the city, but the park. No, the city has parks here, Mark.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the state parks. All right.
I don't know anything about the state parks. I'm sure there are state parks, but I can't speak to them. But here in the little city of Keene, New Hampshire, there's a park right over nearby where the studio is, and almost everything in that park is donated. There's a bridge there, donated by a company. There's benches there, donated in the name of some people who probably long since passed away. They do fundraisers. There's there's an independent group that helps maintain the park. They do. They pick up the park, they plant flowers in the springtime, and they beautify the place, and it's just an incredibly beautiful little park, and very, very little is done for it by the city of Keene. That kind of stuff exists here in a lot of cases. The entirety of one of the other parks in town, which has a huge amount of acreage, was just donated to the city by some individuals. So I think if we got the government out of parks, everybody's so worried that parks wouldn't exist, and it's ridiculous. People love parks, and they would be willing to donate to it, don't you think?
There's a private park.
Definitely.
Sorry, you were saying?
I've seen private parks. There's a private park in Baton Rouge. It's privately maintained.
Do you have to pay to get into the private park? Because that's what
Canes pays for it.
That's what people want you to believe, is that, well, if it's run by a company or whatever, whoever is besides the government, there's going to be a turnstile and you have to, drop in 50 cents.
Yeah, no. So there's a private chicken restaurant that's named after a dog, and so this restaurant named Canes pays for and maintains a dog park. I mean, humans can go there too, obviously, but it's like advertising for them.
That's cool.
Humans that want to pet dogs. Go ahead, Jess.
Let's see. I forget what I was going to say, but yes, I think federal parks could definitely be privatized, and it's really not fair to the people who don't use them to have to pay for them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Jess, thanks for calling in tonight. Appreciate you sharing that. It's rare that we actually hear from libertarians with, things that libertarians are doing out there. So it's nice to know that something's going on. Thank you for the call tonight.
Thanks for your service.
I appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And I am in touch, by the way, with Adam Kokesh now that he is out of jail. Speaking of libertarians who we have heard from in the past, letting us know what he's been up to. He was going on one of his, I guess it was his initial book bombing thing, where he's got a book, Freedom, and he's gotten some funding, I think from Dash and Smart Cash, to get that book out there into people's hands. And they'd gone to New Orleans, which is a place you're pretty familiar with, I imagine, Melanie, because you used to be down from that way. They went to New Orleans to do their first book distribution, and were also doing some interesting outreach prior to that on one of the bridges in New Orleans, and were arrested.
Wait, on a bridge?
Yes, on a bridge. Arrested for just simply doing a little bit of cleaning. And we'll tell you more about that. We won't get into all that.
Oh, yeah, you can't do that in New Orleans.
all the details.
You can't fill potholes either.
There's video of what happened. He was arrested and charged and then ultimately released after a few days, and he's going to tell us the story about that. Hopefully, looks like we're going to grab him tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So if you're with us for tomorrow's show, Mark, I think you're going to be here, and Aria DeMezzo will be joining us from the Call to Freedom.
Doing my best.
So we'll talk to Adam at that time. Let's go in the meantime to the phones and to your calls and thoughts. We got Larry in Massachusetts. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm a frequent listener, and I was losing a lot of sleep about the state of the government right now. You know, Democrats and Republicans not being able to, cooperate, and Donald Trump is just going against the Republican ideas.
Well, you don't want them to cooperate, do you? Because if they cooperate, that means the government's going to get more intrusive and bigger and more oppressive. So, I mean, isn't it a good thing that they're not cooperating?
I feel like the government needs to cooperate so we have a stable system, because right now our economy isn't going the way that it should. Stock market's down. I've invested in many companies, and I've lost a lot of money.
You've lost
money? The federal
money?
government has very little control over the economy like that. There's things they can do to make it worse. The federal government really can't do anything to make it better, including just getting out of the way, because you have other issues there.
Furthermore, we're in the longest month-over-month bull run in U.S. history. So if you're losing money, it might have something to do with what you're investing in. What are you investing in?
Companies like Tesla, and I know Tesla is kind of a niche market, but for guys with huge penises like me, we just love it.
I'll let that go through on the internet feed, but I'm not gonna let that one go out on the radio.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call, though. The toll-free number here, you said he was well endowed. I will say, I can say that.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah.
Since we have a moment here, I'd like to talk to the young mendicants on Twitch.
Uh-huh.
And for those of you who don't know what a mendicant is, it's a person without a job.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, it's usually a religious term, like a person who takes an order. But,
Okay.
it's basically, what I'm saying is you bums.
Yeah.
We love you guys, and we're glad you're listening, but we have a dump button. There's this thing called a television. It used to be this box. It was like a computer, only there was no internet.
Yeah.
And the picture was nowhere near as crisp. And out of that box came broadcast. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, broadcast has rules, and among those rules are you can't say things that are naughty. And in order to follow those rules, because we had those dirty words when we were kids too, in order to follow those rules, we developed something called a dump button. And a dump button allows us to go back up to 7 seconds in time.
We can actually make it as long as we want to. But
and drop your dumb butt right off the air.
You'll never even make it.
Yeah, you did all the time that you did.
He waited for quite
nothing.
a long time for
Right.
that one, too. There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Marijuana has unleashed a green gold rush across our nation. It's creating $10.8 billion in new wealth a year. And every day, it's transforming more and more Americans into millionaires. In an historic event, former Speaker of the House John Boehner reveals how you could become one of them. Join him online for the American Cannabis Summit. Attendance is 100% free, but space is limited. To secure your spot, text JOIN to 76280. This event is the first of its kind ever. John Boehner and an esteemed panel will reveal which cannabis stocks are primed to deliver life-changing windfalls in the weeks and months ahead. Plus, they will show you how to become a cannabis angel investor, backing the hottest startups before they potentially become worth billions of dollars. To join American Cannabis Summit, text JOIN to 76280. Attendance is free. Text JOIN to 76280. Text JOIN to 76280.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 7th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,292 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.45 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,024. Antiwar.com reports out of Yemen's Hodeidah province say both sides have traded artillery fire over the weekend. While both sides have traded accusations of starting it and of violating the ceasefire, it is yet unclear who actually fired first. Since reaching a ceasefire deal last month in Hodeidah province, fighting had dropped substantially in the area. Though there has been intermittent fighting and artillery fire, it is still much less violent, and the ceasefire continues to hold. There are some UN monitors in Hodeidah now, having arrived in recent weeks, though so far they don't appear to have issued a statement on what happened over the weekend. This may suggest they won't be providing updates unless the ceasefire is in serious jeopardy. This comes as UN envoy Martin Griffiths is visiting the Yemeni capital of Sana'a to visit the Houthi members. This is his first visit to the country since the Sweden peace talks. Further talks are expected later this month. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc. UPI reports the U.S. National Park Service announced Sunday that it will use reserved money from visitor fees to fund operations of parks affected by the ongoing partial government shutdown. Deputy Director of the National Park Service, P. Daniel Smith, said the agency was taking the extraordinary step of using entrance, camping, parking, and other fees collected from park visitors that would typically be used for future projects at parks to fund the most highly visited parks. Smith said while the NPS will not be able to fully open parks and many of the smaller sites around the country will remain closed, utilizing these funds now will allow the American public to safely visit many of our nation's national parks while providing these iconic treasures the protection they deserve. The funds will be used to clean up trash, clean and maintain restrooms, bring additional law enforcement rangers into parks to patrol accessible areas, and restore accessibility to areas that have so far been off limits due to the shutdown. The statement did not clarify how much money would be spent or which parks would receive the funding. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spend a Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend a Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump said on Sunday he was in no hurry to find permanent replacements for 1/4 of his cabinet currently serving in an acting capacity because it gives him more flexibility. Trump told reporters as he departed for Camp David for meetings on the partial government shutdown, "I am in no hurry." About 1/4 of the U.S. federal government has been shuttered for more than 2 weeks, and about 800,000 government workers have been either furloughed or working without pay. Trump said, "I like acting. It gives me more flexibility. Do you understand that? I like acting, so we have a few that are acting. We have a great cabinet." He did not elaborate on why they give him more flexibility. There are 24 cabinet-level positions, and 6 are currently filled by individuals who are serving at an acting capacity after the departure of members confirmed by the U.S. Senate. Other than the White House Chief of Staff and the Vice President, Cabinet-level officials require confirmation by the U.S. Senate. Federal law allows the president to temporarily fill vacancies by appointing acting department heads who are already employees there. Trump said last month he was in no hurry to name a new defense secretary after Jim Mattis quit over policy differences, and he has praised the acting secretary, Patrick Shanahan. David Barnhart is acting secretary of the Interior Department, while Matthew Whitaker is acting attorney general. Andrew Wheeler is the acting head of the Environmental Protection Agency, while Mick Mulvaney is the acting White House chief of staff. Jonathan Cohen is acting ambassador to the United Nations. In the first 2 years of Trump's presidency, there have been a 65% turnover rate among senior-level advisors, according to the Brookings Institute, a Washington think tank. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Several weeks after the car accident that resulted in the death of his longtime friend Matthew Abrams, local man Keith Bisbee told Onion reporters today that he isn't sure how much longer he should continue using the photo of his deceased friend as his profile picture on Facebook.
People can't really expect me to keep this up forever, right?
Bisbee told reporters he felt like he had done more than his part to preserve the young man's memory. Bisbee added, however, that he had no idea when to go about changing his profile picture.
I'm pretty sure nobody would judge me if I went ahead and changed the photo right now. Matt wouldn't expect me to still have a picture of him up. I mean, I wouldn't expect that of him. You know, I should just do it. Maybe I can go online later tonight when nobody's on. But his girlfriend gets home late from work. I don't really want to seem disrespectful. Maybe I could do it tomorrow morning, or...
At this time, Bisbee has reluctantly changed his profile picture to an image of a gay rights equal sign and is, quote, just waiting to see what happens next.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour of the program. You can bring up anything that you want. The overarching topic tonight has been the government shutdown, partial shutdown, that is affecting about 800,000 federal employees. Half of them are being told to stay home and that they'll get paid once the government starts up again for the time they got to stay home. The other half is being told, you got to come to work, and then we'll pay you once the government starts up again. Now, Trump has said publicly that this could last for months, maybe even years, which of course means that this is going to be a major stare down between Trump and the people in Congress who obviously, you know, they claim they want to get these government jobs back to being paid, but Trump is putting his foot down and saying, I'm not going to sign these budgets unless you give me the $5 billion for the wall. Now, I want to be clear. I'm against the wall, and I'm not a fan of Trump, but I'm also not a fan of Congress either. So whenever it is the government shuts down, I always have to applaud. And it's interesting to...
Trump's taking credit for it.
It was funny the first time, but since it's not actually
you mean under
shut
Clinton?
down... Well, it was funny the first time I was aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably too young under Clinton.
Yeah.
But
so the Obama one?
That's the first time I became aware of it.
That was amusing, but... It's kind of just like it's telling the same joke every year at this point, like because nothing's actually shutting down.
But yeah,
the
they are
still
actually
there.
Well, the government's still there, but a portion of it is shut down. I mean, there are government bureaucracies like you can't get a passport right now, apparently, for instance, because that's one of the offices that has been closed, where the bureaucrats they're not working. But the government parks also shut down. However, the difference, we just heard from Jess Mears from the Libertarian Party. They went to the National Mall to do a litter pickup over the weekend, and they didn't see any kind of barriers. And we had another guy call in recently about the same question of, it seems like this time they're not spending the time and money to put up the barriers.
Well, because they're not having camera crews out there.
No, they've had camera crews out there. They absolutely have. But they're just, for whatever reason, maybe it's Trump. Maybe there's a difference between how the shutdown goes under Trump versus how it went
really
under Obama.
Difficult to keep people out of a federal park if they really wanted to get in.
No doubt, but they spent time and money on it before.
This is my speculation, is that the Obama administration wanted you to believe that the government was necessary. The Trump administration realizes that some of his base is like, yeah, let's keep it shut down longer. Right? So Trump says, well, why would you employ people to put up barriers so that there are barriers when the employed people aren't working? It makes no sense.
It's hard to imagine it came down from that high up, but it could have.
Well, I mean...
Something like this, like, because yeah, the president doesn't usually dictate where barriers go in parks, but when we get to this extreme level of pettiness, yes, the president can absolutely be like, put a barrier there.
Or don't.
I mean, it was, I'm sorry, under Obama, it was laughable that there were armed guards guarding a shut down, park because of, necessary whatever. I mean, that was just absolutely laughable. However, I would say this about the government shutdown. If we're talking about $5 billion, that's not even real money in Washington terms. That's just crap money.
Yeah.
Can't Trump just say, okay, Department of Border Patrol, the Border Patrol folks, you're going to allocate $1 billion of your dollars to building a structure along a barrier along the wall.
That money's already been allocated for other things. They got to pay their bureaucrats.
Reallocate.
Well, they're not going to do that. But Trump did say that he might do a national emergency, and then he claims that would allow him to use the Department of Defense budget to build the wall.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either.
So we got more here. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. Where we started the show was the story about the Bureau of Prisons and how their bureaucrats are frustrated. They're angry. They're showing up at one of the worst, most thankless jobs in the realm of the government, and many of them are not wanting to keep coming into work. So what happens if there aren't enough jailers? What happens if enough of those people call out to where they're down to half staff? What does that look like?
I know they don't let the convicts out.
We go to David, though. He's on the line in Albuquerque. David, go ahead with your thoughts.
La Cosa Nostra, meaning our government. Another, Mark, you remember from last night, I brought up one point. Another point in that same conversation is, for instance, and this is, I don't mean that people can't use it. This is my work product. I'm just claiming credit for it because I haven't heard anybody else say this before. I'm not trying to prevent anybody else from using it. But this, for instance, when I was arrested recently on a warrant for failure to appear for a summons I never got, because of a clerical error on the part of the government. The charge was for using a telephone to threaten, harass, offend, annoy, et cetera, et cetera. And it came in as it's a violation of 30-20-12 New Mexico statutes, and it was written up as a DV as opposed to a CR, meaning criminal, a domestic violence, as opposed to criminal. So that leaves one. I haven't yet, in the process, got them to confirm whether.
Hold on, just before you go on here, are you referring to when you had apparently called into a local radio show from the college? Is that what the arrest was regarding?
Yeah, the arrest was. I had been, just like I call your program. I mean, the only reason.
And that's considered domestic violence under their system? A domestic violence case?
That's what they charged me with, and I don't remember having sex with any of those people.
That's not what.
So.
Yeah.
Well, what does that mean, Melanie? I mean, how can you get a domestic violence charge?
Can also be a family member. So if you beat up your sister, that's.
But he called a radio show. Like, have you ever heard of that?
I called a radio station.
Yeah, that's just a complete stranger is not domestic violance.
It wasn't your mom that was answering the phones,
sleep
right?
With them, so.
It wasn't your mom that was.
Let me save you some time. When I said I'm having fun at their expense, since they're doing this to me, I'm going to have some fun with it. And I said I don't recall, and I'll say this in a courtroom. I don't recall having sex, Your Honor, with any of the people at the radio station, or any of the other definitions of domestic relations. I don't recall having any of those types of relationships either. So the question that I was proposing was, and there's actually a deeper issue, but to answer your question, the question I'm asking is, you're charging with domestic violence. So are you making a clerical error? In other words, you screwed up again, government?
Yeah, sure.
Or are you being malicious in attempting to charge me with a domestic violence when it should more properly be simply a criminal charge as opposed to a DV charge?
Yeah, isn't this is the charge criminal harassment? What's the actual charge called?
It's like I said, 30-20-12, and it's using the telephone. It's one sentence: using the telephone to threaten, annoy, harass.
I see.
And something. I can never remember the stupid words they use.
So the phone version of criminal harassment, basically, because basically criminal harassment is when somebody tells you, so-and-so, I don't want you to call me ever again, or I don't want to ever talk to you or talk to me ever again. And then if you
probably
keep
shouldn't run a radio program that's owned by the state of New Mexico and then solicit calls if you don't want somebody to call you, though.
Yeah, but so your question is, since you've had a history, a domestic history, not with violence necessarily, but there's a divorce, there's kids, and you've called about this in the past for listeners just tuning in. But you've had this history. So your question is this bureaucrat who made this filing making a mistake on purpose, or did they just accidentally put in domestic violence as the category instead of criminal?
Right, and a normal, reasonable person would think of it was just a clerical error, but it's rather a gross error to make such an error. So that makes one like myself, who's been kicked around by La Cosa Nostra, meaning our government, for all my life, but the last decade especially, makes me wonder if they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
And now we're getting somewhere, because why would they do that on purpose? Well, whatever legislation it was in the recent past that attached the forfeiture of your Second Amendment enumerated right to firearms
because it's domestic violence.
Because it's domestic violence. And so, did they do that on purpose in order to screw with me one level deeper than a simple criminal charge?
My guess is yes. Yeah, if I had to make a guess.
That's an excellent question, David, and I thank you for calling to share the update on that situation. His argument had been in the past that the board operator or whoever the phone screener was at that radio show didn't want him to call back. I mean, he did, apparently. But his argument is it's public property. How can they ban him from a show that's being run by a public radio station at a public college?
With tax money.
And it's an interesting argument. Thank you for the call. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Speaking of radio stations, I've got to announce our third and final set of existing stations that are coming on board for weeknights starting tonight. Coming up.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm going to tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm going to tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free and bring up what you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. We've been welcoming our existing weekend affiliates, some of them longtime weekend affiliates. In fact, KBKW in Aberdeen, Washington, has been on board with Free Talk Live since 2009, so almost a decade. It was late 2009 when they came on board, so they'll be celebrating their first decade with Free Talk Live later this year. And if you're listening in Aberdeen, you're now hearing us on weekdays, and we're afternoon drive over there. I guess early evening drive. We're just right now. It's the 1 hour after the 5 o'clock, so it's the 6 p.m. hour there on the Pacific time zone. And so, welcome if you're driving home, listening to Free Talk Live, maybe for the first time, because not everybody that listens, as much as radio stations would like their weekday listeners to listen on the weekends, not everybody does listen on the weekends. So it may be many of your first times hearing the show here tonight. So welcome if you're on AM 1450, or on their FM side, they've got what they call in the business an FM translator at 100.5 FM there in Aberdeen, so on both AM and FM. And for the three of you that have HD radios, you might be listening on their HD channel on KSWW HD4. So there's 3 whole signals that we're on there now on weeknights, so welcome aboard. It is open phones every single night here. You guys are going to be tuning in for our third and final hour of our weekday show every weekday, so welcome. You can really take control of the airwaves. You can really bring up anything that you want to discuss. And if you're just tuning in, at the beginning of the show, we'd started a piece from NBC News, and we've just been, all over the place, calls coming in. We haven't even really gotten into the meat of the discussion, which I really wanted to get to, this question of what happens when these government bureaucrats for the Bureau of Prisons, there are 36,000 of these Bureau of Prisons employees, what is it that they're going to do when a number of them start calling out? Because we got the news over the weekend, the TSA has been calling out, because these are bureaucrats who are working but not getting paid. This coming Friday, if the government's still partially shut down, as it has been for the last 2 weeks, if it's still shut down on Friday, there's not going to be a paycheck. So many of the TSA employees have been calling out sick, saying they're not coming in. How long can that go for with the Bureau of Prisons? It's one thing at the airports. That's no big deal. I mean, whatever. You're just shuffling people through a line, and they can lose some amount of bureaucrats there. In the prisons, those guys got to get fed.
Yeah, I mean, you'd certainly have to have a certain amount of officers to run a prison,
right?
And you can't shut it down.
No, you can't just open the doors and say, "Oh, guys, you're out early," unless the judges actually start releasing people, unless it gets so bad and this is such a protracted shutdown that it forces them to release people early, like, we don't have enough people to actually keep you here, so we're just going to cut it down to the actual people who should be in prison, because a good chunk of the federal prison population are peaceful people who've never harmed another human being. There's people in there like Ross Ulbricht, who ran a website. He ran the Silk Road, the world's first and most notorious underground marketplace. He's in federal prison for 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
Yeah, he's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, around 90% is drug-related crimes, and that's just drug-related crimes. There are other victimless crimes.
There are a lot of them, exactly. So, this seems like a ridiculous proposal, but what if they did that? I mean, if it's months into this thing and they're down to a quarter of their staff, how long would you go for if you weren't getting paid? At a job you loved, how long would you do it?
It's not even necessarily how long would you do it. It's like, how long can you do it?
Well, there's that too.
You have to eat. You have to pay rent or mortgage or whatever.
Exactly. The longer this goes.
At some point, you're going to have to go.
Now, there is the unemployment answer, which somebody had suggested.
But they're not unemployed.
Somebody said, I don't know if it was you, Mark, but somebody said on the air that you can get unemployment for a furlough in some states. That if you are not getting paid by your job, but you still have the job, you can still collect unemployment, even though in some states you may have to pay it back.
That sounds right.
Yeah, you may have to pay it back.
Okay.
But again, each state is different based on whatever unemployment rules they've got. So the story coming out of NBC News that bureaucrats are upset. The bureaucrats that have a union, the American Federation of Government Employees, and had written a letter about this, saying that inmates were mocking the demoralized prison staffers while feasting on their New Year's Day lunch of grilled steak, garlic macaroni biscuits, and assorted holiday pies. Quote, they're getting a lavish meal, and we are working the holidays away from our families, wondering if we can pay the rent or make it home, he said. Case manager at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn expressed a similar frustration, saying, they're more worried about appeasing these inmates than making sure we get paid, said the bureaucrat, who worked on Christmas and New Year's Day when inmates chowed down on Cornish hen and roast beef with macaroni and cheese and Boston cream pie and other treats for dessert. Quote, a lot of the staff were upset over the fact that we don't know where our next meal is going to come from. And these inmates were served so much food, they were able to get on the serving line twice. So
you know what? I just really feel like if a guard wanted to, even if whether they're supposed to or not, if they wanted to get in line and swipe a plate,
get another plate,
they could get in line and swipe a plate.
Easy.
I'm like, no.
They can have as much as they want, the guards.
The guards' meals were $1 when I was working at the staff canteen in Brevard Correctional Institution.
They made the guards pay for their meals?
In some cases, yep.
Interesting.
And a lot of times they'd come up and want a free meal from me, and I'd always give it to them.
There are legal
it's
reasons
ridiculous
for that.
to have an inmate in charge of collecting the money from the guards. I mean, this isn't even like, there's no opacity to this at all.
Yeah.
It's clearly transparent.
Yeah, but if they wanted to walk up and take a plate, I don't think anybody's going to stop them.
Nope.
I mean, especially if all that food's there, like you say.
All right, so they do explain the meals here, Mark. The Bureau of Prisons said in a statement that holiday meals are, quote, planned weeks in advance, including, as happened here, in advance of the government shutdown. The special dinners are served on the holidays to, quote, promote morale for the inmate population because they're separated from their families. The statement said further, on Christmas, a facility may serve a special meat choice, such as Cornish hen, or a special dessert. So that, again, affirms what we had talked about earlier, where in many facilities, federal prisons included, the quality of the meal does rise on a holiday like a Christmas. We were confirmed
it's probably
that
canned Cornish hen.
we were confirmed that by that it happened in state prison here in New Hampshire. Unfortunately, Mark, for you, it didn't really happen down in Florida, and it sounds like you're still upset about that.
They certainly raise the quantity, and you could go through sometimes in 2 times. Yeah.
One of the bureaucrats, the national president of Prison Locals, said it was, quote, despicable for the federal government to serve up choice meals to inmates while forcing staffers to forego their pay and vacations. He said further, quote, imagine doing that at a time when you've got staff who can't put food on the table or put gas in the car. You imagine what that does to the morale. We are the collateral damage as a result of their politics. And that's definitely true. I mean, that these government bureaucrats are essentially a political football. How's it feel, guys? How's it feel to know that your job can easily just have its paycheck disappear from you? I mean, a lot of people go work for the government thinking it's guaranteed money. If you work for the government, they've got the taxing power behind them, right? So it's not like when you go to work for Kmart goes out of business. Sears is almost out of business at this point. They just barely got saved.
Kmart fires you, they have the decency to not demand you keep coming to work.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's more coming up here. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE, about the government shutdown. If you want to weigh in, you can on the radio with us. This is Free Talk Live.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at readytoeatbacon.com. readytoeatbacon.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want right here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. We're going to get to one of those calls here in just a moment over at discord.lrn.fm. But I do want you to know about Smart Cash, which is a brand new sponsor here at Free Talk Live, and they're really doing a big blast out into the world of libertarian talk, not just Free Talk Live, but Daryl W. Perry's got his newscast sponsored by Smart Cash. Ben Swan, Reality Check, sponsored by Smart Cash.
Lava Flow.
Even Adam Kokesh's arrest video was sponsored by Smart Cash. We'll be talking with Adam tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, unless something unexpected happens, he gets arrested again or something.
God knows.
But
is that unexpected?
With Adam, no, not really. Which is one of the reasons why I love him. He's a brave guy, and he's willing to put himself in harm's way for more freedom, and I appreciate the work that he does. So we'll have him on tomorrow. Smartcash.cc is where you can go to learn more about Smart Cash. They've got some special things that set them apart, because there's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there in the world. Last time I checked a couple days ago, there were over 2,000 cryptocurrencies listed at coinmarketcap.com. Smart Cash is in the top 200 of those 2,000. I think it's like 100 and some. Yeah, I'd have to check. I don't want to speculate. It's in the hundreds somewhere. And so they're new. It's one of the newer cryptos. They've come up with some pretty cool ideas. Like, here's an idea. You, as a Smart Cash holder, if you have at least one, and Daryl says even if it's less than one, but I don't know how you could even get less than one Smart Cash. It's only 1.6 or 1.7 cents or something like that per Smart Cash. If you have at least one Smart Cash, you can vote on the Smart Cash proposals. So you don't have to have a certain minimum number of Smart Cash to participate in their online voting system to help govern the Smart Cash system and the money that they spend on things.
It also has sort of a savings account built in to it. That
Smart Rewards.
Yeah, you get if you don't spend your Smart Cash over a certain period of time and don't, no withdrawals from a particular account,
right,
then you'll get extra money.
Now, for that one, you do have to have 1,000 Smart Cash in that wallet in order to qualify for the Smart Rewards. But, I mean, if we're talking about something that is under 2 cents a piece, that's $20 worth of Smart Cash at the moment.
You can do it!
But remember, Mark, when we, years ago, we had this guy from Dash on from, one of the earlier Bitcoin conferences we went to, the founder of Dash. We had him on our show, and my attitude was like, oh, yeah. Here's another one of these Bitcoin wannabes. Okay, what you got there, dude? And, we gave him an interview and we talked about Dash, but, you and I didn't run out and get a masternode because at that time, the Dash masternode would have cost us probably about $20 or something like that to get 1,000 Dash. In this case, $20 gets you 1,000 Smart Cash, and that can immediately earn you these Smart Rewards. Well, I guess not immediately. You have to wait about a month, essentially, for a certain time frame to pass. And like you said, you can't spend from that wallet. So you just have two wallets. You have one that's a savings wallet, and then you have another one that is your spending wallet that you can spend out of, and you're good to go. Check it out over at smartcash.cc. They're doing some pretty cool stuff over there, and we've just barely scratched the surface of it for you right here. That's smartcash.cc. As we continue here, just a couple more comments, and then we go right to your calls and thoughts. The federal prison workers not so happy about having to come to work and not getting a paycheck likely at the end of this week if this government shutdown continues. Some federal prison workers, according to NBC, bracing to go without their next paycheck, have taken second jobs to make ends meet. Instead of returning home after his shift at FCI Mendota in California, Aaron McLaughlin has been spending many of his nights picking up fares while driving for Uber. He says, I never wanted to drive an Uber, but I don't know if I'm going to get a paycheck at the prison, and so I have no choice. He says, it's rather embarrassing for me. Not everyone has a large savings. Some people live paycheck to paycheck. I'm one of them.
Well, he says it like it's an inherent characteristic that you inherit and not
and you can't rise above.
He took.
Yeah. For Dwayne Bautista, a correctional officer at FDC Honolulu and a local union president, the financial consequences of the shutdown are not his only concern. The 16-year veteran worries that the closing down of the government will endanger the safety of the prison workers. With some staffers calling in sick, a skeleton crew has been forced to run all of the facility's normal operations. So they're already getting sick call-ins from the Bureau of Prisons.
Isn't that the other officers putting the staff in danger?
Technically, that would be them, yeah. In some cases, Bautista said workers are doing 16-hour shifts. He says these guys are going to get burnt out and might make bad decisions. Working over 16 hours on a day-to-day basis is unhealthy. I'm just hoping this government opens up. But what if it continues? What if Trump really does? What if Trump's not just looking to beat the record by one day? Because he wants to do everything big, right? He's Trump, What if he really wants to hold this record of the longest government shutdown? That's secretly.
Well, if he holds it long enough,
doing.
then it'll actually shut down because people won't be able to come to work and not get
right.
paid.
So what happens then, especially in the case of prisons? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. It's a very interesting question.
I keep wondering what's going to happen, but he'll probably just declare victory and say that that they promised him whatever he wants to say they promised him, and they'll be like, "No, we didn't do that. What?" And then he'll just do whatever he wants.
I'm very interested to see how this plays out. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. We got Gene, the Christian Anarchist, on the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. Go ahead, Gene.
Ni hao from Wuhan, China.
Oh, hey, you sound loud and clear. You sound better from China than our caller earlier from Michigan did.
Yeah, well, the internet is working quite well.
Are you on a VPN to call us?
Currently, I'm not, unless it's built into the AT&T phone system, because I have the AT&T international plan, and it does not seem to be censored at all in China. I can get YouTube. I can get on everything.
Wow.
As long as I'm... And this is not a plug for AT&T, by the way. Okay. I'm not pushing AT&T.
Well, because you had told us you've called from China before, for listeners who are new to the show, and we got a lot of them tonight because a bunch of our weekend radio stations are taking
about 14 years ago was the first time.
Yeah, you've called from China often, and you told us, I think in the past, that Free Talk Live's website was one of the ones you could not access through Chinese internet.
No, actually, I always was able to access it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I apologize. I misremembered.
Google, I couldn't get on, and YouTube, I couldn't get on, and of
We're
course,
not subversive
Facebook
enough,
and
apparently.
Twitter and all those.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
but,
the Chinese
but they missed you guys.
Yeah, they must have must be overlooked.
Well, Google and Google and YouTube are CIA shell corps, so maybe it's just you can't access U.S. government websites.
Well, they're working with the CIA, or they're working with Google to launch a special Chinese version of Google. Although Google's now claiming that's on the shelf and they're not doing anything with it. But
it might be on the shelf because they can't get engineers to work on it.
So what were you calling about? How's your experience going out there?
It's going well. I was concerned about this trip because I figured, they've been clamping down a lot more on the internet since I was last here, and I thought I wasn't going to be able to access anything. But fortunately, talk is cheap, and actions take time and money, and they're not quite able to block everything.
Nice.
So, but I've been driving around in China. I posted a clip on YouTube about how to do a U-turn in a Chinese traffic jam. And I posted a couple pictures on the Discord about the place where I'm at currently in Wuhan. And excuse my voice, by the way. I didn't call in yesterday because I actually couldn't talk.
Wow.
It's a pretty good turnaround from that.
Yeah. So I still sound a little hoarse. I have a cold, and the smog doesn't help. The smog.
So that's a thing. What part did you say? Wuhan?
Wuhan, China. It's kind of in the belly of the chicken. If you look at China as a big chicken.
Okay.
Wuhan is kind of in the belly of the chicken.
I've never thought of China as a big chicken.
They probably don't want you to think that either.
It's the best
a big
chicken.
Steel industry. There's a lot of steel industry and automotive manufacturing here, and the pollution is very, very bad. People don't know what bad pollution is until you come to China.
Really?
But life goes on. The birds still sing, and the vegetation still grows, and it's not the end of the world.
Well, thank you for the China update, Gene. Was there something else that you wanted to tell us besides the weather report and the internet report?
Well, I'd like to tell you about a conversation I had with a guy from Iran yesterday.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. Stand by. More with Gene, the Christian Anarchist. He is all the way halfway across the world in China, and we got more on the way. Maybe time for you if you join us now. It's Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Pain in my neck, back, and shoulders has really gotten worse.
Relief for body pain is here with Sunny Bay heating pads.
Well, the last thing I want is to take another pill, so what's so good about Sunny Bay heating pads?
Sunny Bay heating pads, made by Biomed DB Design right here in the USA, come in all sizes. Our extra large microwavable heating pad for back pain is designed to be large enough to cover your entire back. It's also perfect to wrap around your legs, knees, or shoulder and neck.
But I need to know they're good quality.
Of course, Sunny Bay heating pads and pillows are often an Amazon choice, and it's easy and most affordable when you purchase your Sunny Bay heating pads right from our website, sunshinepillows.com, or call us 253-678-1361.
Hey, a Sunny Bay heating pad
would make a great gift, right?
Yes, and they start at just $19.99 and free shipping is available. So call 253-678-1361 or shop for your Sunny Bay heating pad at sunshinepillows.com.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job seekers and everyone else, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. Enough time. If you want to get on the line with us, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And big thanks to Juggalo Ken. He is a Free Talk Live Silver Amplifier, somebody who has backed up the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. And that is a way for you to help Free Talk Live for $5 a month. You can use credit card, PayPal. You can use Bitcoin BTC. Donate that via amp.freetalklive.com, and you'll get access to some cool perks, some bonuses, benefits, like access to the AMP-only or the contributors-only discussion chat rooms on our Discord server. And there's also the AMP-only Facebook group, into which, by the way, Mark, you have posted a poll today. You posted it this afternoon.
Yep.
About your hair color and what what had happened was you're going gray, right? So, but
I think it's extraneous information, but yes.
Anyone watching can see that over at twitch.lrn.fm.
Certainly they can.
But anyway, you had made a promise over the holiday season when we were doing a fundraiser for there's an orphanage in Uganda that our listeners helped build over a year ago, I think, at this point. And they are now we're teaming up with them again to help them buy some property, basically,
right?
And do some
land so
farmland.
that they can do some farming, pay for their, get some food and pay for their school fees.
And so there's this big fundraiser. We were looking to raise over $30,000 in order to do this, and you made a promise that you would allow your hair to be dyed some radical color if we reached the fundraiser in a certain amount of time. We didn't make it in that certain amount of time, but we did make it pretty soon thereafter in a very surprising way, and now we've hit the goal. So you're prepared to go to a cryptocurrency accepting salon here in town and have them do a dye job on you. Is this something you've ever done in the history of Mark's hair?
I have. In high school, I bleached parts of my hair out, during the old punk rock days.
Yeah, but you never dyed it. You just bleached it?
I did dye a portion of it black.
I see.
Yeah.
So never a crazy color or anything like that.
It seemed pretty crazy. My mother certainly
thought it was crazy at the time. So this will be a first, and we're going to go.
As an adult, I certainly haven't done this.
Right.
Nonsense.
So it's very exciting. You posted a poll in that
I won't even
group.
use Grecian formula. I mean, which
you posted a poll about, well, what color should it be? And I also asked the same question on the Discord in the amp-only group. So our amplifiers are the ones who've gotten to weigh in on this discussion. It appears that the number one result on your side of things there on Facebook was
something rainbow and highly gay.
Unfortunately, rainbow is a complex dye job.
I put that up there, and that everybody seems to be enamored with that one.
See, I would have let them make their own poll choices.
Those are the choices. You are not on Facebook. I would like to put here's what I posted. I said, Ian, whom it's very important to acknowledge, is no longer on Facebook. Basically,
finished off for a whole year.
Basically, finished off my fundraiser.
I actually wrote an article over at Free Keen about alternatives to Facebook for people that actually want to communicate more effectively with their friends and other activists and such.
Yeah. I made
what was below rainbow?
Rainbow was red, white, and blue mohawk with stars like the NSA dude.
You didn't post that one.
NASA dude.
That wasn't yours. You didn't come up with that.
That was Jackie Mason's, our sometime host.
Yep.
And then
that's just mean. Why would she do that?
Number 3 is don't do it, but leave it on the table for the next fundraising goal.
All right. People had a variety of opinions in the Discord chat as well. I think
the funniest one is, since the target date was missed, dye your body hair only. Which is really weird, but it doesn't surprise me.
I don't know if we could put that video on
No,
YouTube.
We're not going to do that.
But yeah, I do want to go in and at least get some photos, maybe do like a time lapse, maybe get the video, set up a camera and just, as long as they're okay with it, set up a camera and then have, like a quick version of the dye job.
I did find hair, while doing this, I found hair extensions, which I thought would be more amusing because you can get any color you want.
Hair?
It's synthetic, and then you could, do this kind of rainbow thing in the portions of my hair that you could actually put an extension on, because the side
That's got to be hard to do for a man, right?
To put extensions in on this, it wouldn't be that hard. No, I've got like 3 inches on the top.
Okay.
You'd be able to do that.
Yeah, I don't know enough how about all that hair stuff works. It's always seemed like a girl thing where they've got extensions.
Right. It's not something that I have a lot of experience with. I'm open to suggestions when we get to the Motasua. Basically, let's be clear here. It's not going to be too long, too many days, certainly not too many weeks before I just zip it all off. And,
you're going to go bald, like totally bald?
Well, I'm not. I'm going to find the length that the brown hair is.
I see.
And look for that.
Do number 1 or 2 or something like that.
Number 1 or 2, yes. I'm going to do number 1 or 2.
Let's go back to Gene, the Christian Anarchist. So we'll keep you informed as to how this dye job thing goes on. I think you should keep it all the way through Anarchapulco.
I got a business meeting. It's going to look awful by the end of Anarchapulco.
I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead. Gene, you're back on with us. You're in China. You had a conversation with somebody from Iran. Go ahead.
Right, and purple. I want to see purple.
All right.
And the basic setup was I drove to the university to pick up my wife and mother-in-law who were there for business. I sat down at McDonald's to have something to eat. While I was sitting there, this guy sat next to me, looked like a Westerner, looked like what we call a lao wai in Chinese, a round eye. And So I said hi to him, and he says hi back and introduced it. I find out he's from Iran. And I said, wow, that's interesting. I said, we chit-chatted a little bit, and then I said, I hate all governments equally. So I went right into it,
Right.
I told him how much I hate every government. I said, I hate the Chinese government. I hate my government. I hate your government. I said, it's basically all a big scam for 8,000, 10,000 years. We've been falling for the same scam that the people at the top somehow can rule us people at the bottom. And I told him how I thought the internet was the key to liberty in our generation, because we can actually find out the truth, that we don't need these people. And, I could see the gears turning in this guy's head, because obviously I don't know anything about him. He's an Iranian student who's studying here in Wuhan. And, he might be in the military intelligence field or something, studying to do that in Iran. I don't really know. But by the time we got done talking, he was quite friendly with me. And I thought, maybe that's a seed that will do something in Iran in the future that can help people to break away from this terrible system that we've been suffering under for 8,000 to 10,000 years.
Maybe he's just trying to turn you into a spy for his senior thesis.
Well, he's not going to succeed.
No, he's not.
Well, you bring up an interesting point. You never know, Gene, what the seeds that you plant will grow into, or when they will grow into something. You never know who you're talking to, whether they're going to become the next Ron Paul, the next champion of freedom, getting all kinds of success and attention for the ideas of liberty in the future. You have no idea.
And I never could have met this guy had I not come to China.
Right, because they can't come to the U.S.
No way. Yeah, there's no way he can come to the U.S., and I ain't probably never going to be able to go to Iran.
Right.
So the only way we could meet was right here in that McDonald's in Wuhan, China.
Great story. Thanks for sharing that tonight, Gene.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Gene, the Christian Anarchist, all the way from China, although he sounds like he's sitting here in the studio.
Right. Great audio quality.
Great quality there on Discord.
This is what the Discord app will get you if you go to discord.freetalklive.com. It's really not that much more time than even dialing the telephone number, honestly.
No, there's a little setup time. I mean, you do have to get a username and password, and then once you're there, once you're into the server, you're just picking up and joining a room. That's it. Once you get it set up, it's faster than dialing a phone number. So over time, and you sound better. If you sound better, we're more likely to keep you, unless you're terribly boring, in which case you're going to be done. Or if you say the F-bomb, like somebody else tried to earlier here tonight. Although they weren't, for whatever reason, they weren't calling on Discord. I don't know if they think that it's going to fool us if they call in on the phones.
The Twitch people?
Yeah, the Twitch people. All of the Twitch calls tonight were on the phones.
Why would the Twitch use Discord, though?
They have before.
Okay.
They certainly know how to use Discord. The Twitch viewers, a lot of the Twitch, that's how we figured out about Discord was... Mato Blasto, who was kind of my Twitch inspiration here, she's got a Discord. A bunch of these Twitch people have their own Discords for their fans to go and kind of talk to one another on a Discord server. So that's why we started that. And by the way, it's been about a year now since we've had both Twitch and Discord as features that we do here on Free Talk Live. So if you want to watch us, you can do that on our Twitch server. You can go to twitch.lrn.fm. You can follow the channel there. We've got over 600 followers now, so thank you to everybody who's following the channel. That means you get updates whenever it is that we go live on the channel.
I'd like to say I'm really proud of the Twitch people for using a telephone, unlike the rest of your contemporaries that are petrified of the thing, like it rings and
to actually
they drop it.
Yeah, to actually speak into a phone.
They
right?
speak into a phone. Yeah,
that's like not a thing for millennials. Although these aren't millennials,
no,
are
they're
they?
younger than millennials.
They're
That's
zennials.
why I said contemporaries.
They're zennials, right?
There's no good term at this point.
They have terms because they're already naming the other one. The Generation Alpha is the one that's getting born right now. So the Zennials are already through.
I'm not sure that that's the name that's going to necessarily stick, but we'll see.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? We're out of time for tonight.
I don't think it's fair to name a generation after the generation before it. That's just gross.
It's boring. It's certainly not creative, right? Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z. Now they're on to A for Alpha. All right, we'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, you can join us over at freetalklive.com. Keep your fingers crossed. More government shutdown.
Free Talk Live.
One of the counselor's excuses for her behavior after call accused her of engaging in stealing. This is stealing. You're taking something from somebody who believed they owned something, and by all evidence did own something. You're taking it from them. And as you say, Mark, this goes on all across the country. They're called tax sales or tax deeds. Whenever people drop back in not being able to pay property taxes, in this case, it's because of the down economy. These people are having a tough time. At one point, she got very frustrated, and she said, well, it's not stealing because it's the law. So apparently, when the law says you can take something that's not yours, it's not stealing. And now all the law is, as you pointed out, and you talk about the Constitution that's supposed to be the highest law of the land, the law is just words on paper written down by men and women. Some of them signed their names to it, but most of us, in fact, 99.999% of us, never signed anything in regards to their laws.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, January 7th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.76 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,292 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.45 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $4,024. Antiwar.com reports out of Yemen's Hodeidah province say both sides have traded artillery fire over the weekend. While both sides have traded accusations of starting it and of violating the ceasefire, it is yet unclear who actually fired first. Since reaching a ceasefire deal last month in Hodeidah province, fighting had dropped substantially in the area. Though there has been intermittent fighting and artillery fire, it is still much less violent, and the ceasefire continues to hold. There are some UN monitors in Hodeidah now, having arrived in recent weeks, though so far they don't appear to have issued a statement on what happened over the weekend. This may suggest they won't be providing updates unless the ceasefire is in serious jeopardy. This comes as UN envoy Martin Griffiths is visiting the Yemeni capital of Sana'a to visit the Houthi members. This is his first visit to the country since the Sweden peace talks. Further talks are expected later this month. Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc. UPI reports the U.S. National Park Service announced Sunday that it will use reserved money from visitor fees to fund operations of parks affected by the ongoing partial government shutdown. Deputy Director of the National Park Service, P. Daniel Smith, said the agency was taking the extraordinary step of using entrance, camping, parking, and other fees collected from park visitors that would typically be used for future projects at parks to fund the most highly visited parks. Smith said while the NPS will not be able to fully open parks and many of the smaller sites around the